Welcome to ChartRoom, everyone. My name is Jay Song. Everything in today's video is never financial, investment, or trading advice of any kind. Everything's just for entertainment, educational, and comedic purposes only. I eat red crayons for breakfast. Trading the markets carries substantial risk. Never trade more than you can afford to lose, and especially be aware against high leverage trading. Past performance is never indicative of future performance. Let's get into the markets. We'll start our day looking at USDT.D, and then we'll go right to SHIBA. Here's a look at our USDT.D. Looks like our number got hit again. Our line, 5.55%, just a hair off. Just last time we were just a hair off. We know these numbers in advance because we know the angle by which and where we're looking for the rejection. So we know with a higher degree of certainty where the territory is on the top side. Okay, we've known it for months. Actually, we've known it for months, and we can find that these areas actually are a type of vortex based on some of the sword cut which is happening in this area, which is also part of a larger sword cut as well based on this area. The first time around we only hit the underside of this long resistance up here. The second time there's a sword cut in this area that's meeting together with this angle, and therefore price is in this nice little pocket, and that pocket is around these areas, okay, where we're at close to right now, okay, overall. Now it does take several, it's a long time that you can play in here, but none of this area is surprising for us, especially because about 3.5 weeks ago I let you guys know when we were back here reading the volume that the odds were we're going to break to the top side and play in here. And as I pointed out earlier in the month, I drew a triangle like this, and I said to everyone, this is the area based on the volume that it's telling us we're most likely going to be staying on the upper side while we take out the supply that's in this area. Now the bull run for crypto starts here, but it can also start here, but we have to have a real reason to get in here. I'll show you what this is going to look like in just a moment in a more practical sense. But right now, the general larger bull run is going to start when we're underneath these areas. And you can see we're a long time from that happening right now. So we're still looking to get basically to these numbers. These numbers come up just slightly a bit higher, but we're going to leave them around 4.25 because that's about where 4.25 is, and this could play out over the month of March. So that's why being in this territory in the month of March is not so friendly for us. It's not going to be so good for the crypto markets at the moment. You can also see that when we came up here, we were starting to bounce on the top side of these larger parabolic based on this energy here. And this is another reason why we know that things are starting to go south, because this is the larger parabolic range. Okay, so this is the oscillation that's currently more immediate that happened over the month of February and end of January and December. It started playing out very sideways, but we lost the support. And when we lost the support here and we started coming on this side, entering this territory right here, this is our first clues that we needed to look at the volume. And as we did 3 or 4 weeks ago, we looked at the volume, and the volume was telling us we should be looking to play upper in these areas. So I let you guys know that. This is why, as I mentioned about 5 weeks ago, I moved out of a lot of my positions. 75% of everything in the market I got out of, except for XDC and XRP, because they were positioned the most best in this territory. So if I know that we're going to be having a bearish moment, I don't really need to be worried about so much of the bullish things going on at the moment. I just need to be more concerned about conserving my position. XRP had still a power play, and it's still active, but XDC about a week ago on Monday, I let you guys know there was a weakness in XDC. I got out of XDC, as I mentioned you guys on a Friday, and I'm in a short position on XDC. So XDC, I believe that it lost its weakness. So XDC, I cut out 75% of my position on XDC, moved into USD, and of some of that, I moved into a short trade right now, betting that XDC is going to go down. In other words, if you're new to this chart, remember, when this chart goes up, your cryptos go down. When this chart goes up, the markets go down in general. If you can track or predict or start gauging the energy moving in and out of this crypto, you can have a better pulse on what's happening in the market so far. Let's continue to recap. If this area is the support, we can actually see price bouncing and sitting down on top of these areas. That is above the target, and therefore this is a healthy area for this to move upwards. Now again, that's bad for the markets. So if we're bouncing on these areas, we're looking for prices to continue playing on here. So now we have two reasons why we need to be careful being bullish at the current moment. And that is again because the volume was telling us 3 weeks ago, as I mentioned in my reports for USDT.D, we should be up here. And the other thing now is the structure that we've had. Now this is a daily chart, so this structure is March 2nd. March 2nd, we bounce on top of this flat, on top of the parabolics, on top of the black line. Okay, so that's 3 points that tell us we should be playing above here. Okay, in addition to the volume, that's 4 reasons why the market is going to be bearish and playing in this territory. So we got to be really careful about that kind of thing. If you see this multiple reasons, you have to think objectionable. Okay, now that means you have to look at it from all sides. Now this doesn't mean that the market's going to crash. The market has bad movements and negative movements at here above 5.55. So this is where I really start to pay attention. I don't want to be as close to this bar, but if we are close to this bar, that's going to be negative. Now that we're touching this bar, okay, we have to give room that things could go south. Now, I don't really think it's going to go all that south right here. I haven't seen that. I actually still believe we're going to be getting down to our pink line more sooner than the upper areas. But we have to be aware that could be a case, and that could be an event that's on the table. Okay, as it is, the way that I see the current game still being played, I believe that we're going to be looking for bearishness in the market. Bearishness in the market as this continues to play here, but I don't see us breaking above this really anytime soon. But these were the numbers I've had given you guys months ago, and the 5.65, and we hit that one, and the other is the 5.5. As that number goes down, we are challenging this twice. So I'm going to show you how we can know which direction the breakout is. Okay, on Tuesday, I would love to refer this to Tuesday, but just so you know, if we break out, we're going to go probably very high. I have up here the larger oscillation that we've been watching for several years. We're not watching for several years, but it's been designed by several years. We've watched many of the oscillations, but we didn't see this oscillation for several years. Only about a year we've had this oscillation. Okay, basically the larger game is this in yellow. Okay, we can measure it on a monthly chart. If you look carefully on a monthly chart, this is your top right here, and this is your bottom. Okay, let's put that back. Good. If we go and break above here, we may want to check the top 9.7. That would be a very bearish thing. I don't think that's going to be the case, but it's something that's on the board. Okay. Now let's look carefully again on the monthly chart where we're at. On the monthly chart, we're somewhere here in this area. Not the end of the world, but it's not looking so hot at the moment. More of those bearish things were in play in November, in December, and in January. But in February, we went high and played again here. So we need to check now, do we have incentive to go up? What is the data telling us? And I'm going to let you know how. Okay. The data is going to tell us how high we're going to be looking to go. And I'm going to show you the way we can do it. Yesterday, the weekly chart closed. We now have 2 volume points by which we can use to gauge what's going to happen. And I'm going to show you, I'm going to hide all my lines, and I'll teach you how to do this. Okay? One of 2 events is going to happen. Either we're going to break the watch line on the bottom side and continue our bullish run, which is when this has weakness. When this has weakness, the markets will go down, and that will be bullish for markets. Okay? But if we continue to move up, things are going to be bad for the markets. Up equal bearish for markets. And we're going to put that in white. We have an angle that we can use that's in line with the foundational area. This is going to be our key angle. And that angle we're going to duplicate on top for structure. And then it's going to give us a more clear picture of where we're at. So far, this is having some verifications. If we place it here, we're getting verifications here and here. This is our key angle. A more immediate resistance might be therefore along the track at 6% plus, because that goes up over time. So the longer it takes, the more higher it can hit, like 640. But right now, the more immediate resistance is 6%. Okay, that's good to know. So we know where the bull run has to continue underneath this area. And we know where the top, or the more immediate sign to stop and slow down and take your breath is, to stop the bleeding. It's here. Okay. How do we know which is going to next? I'm going to show you. We're going to look in the volume. Okay. We're going to take this area and we're going to read the volume in these two areas. This is what's known as the VZB. If we see that the volume is very high on this area, which it may, on that date, whichever date that is. This is a daily chart. This is going to be about March 1st. And then we're going to read the volume in comparison to yesterday, because that's where we entered this territory. So this is going to be the same data. And if the volume is equal or greater than, okay, then what happens is this means the market will go up. If the volume is less than, okay, and there's a decrease in the volume from 0.1 to 0.2, then that means that the market may be drying up. We're not as in immediate danger. If there's no volume at all, and it's a no demand situation, then I would be looking for a more immediate event like this into weakness. So again, if I'm seeing a greater than volume in situation number 2, one of these 3 situations is going to apply, by the way, then we're going to look for continued higher prices. This is how I knew when we were in this area and we kept challenging this area, but the volume was still strong, that it tells us we're going to break to the top side. Okay, that's why I told everybody to get out of the market or be careful of the market. And that's why I got out of the market and I let everyone else know what I was doing, okay, weeks ago. Okay, so as again, a friend called me up and said, about a week ago now, said, what do I buy? What do I buy? I got some money now, I'm going to buy. I said, wait. That's what I told everyone here. What I told you guys. That's what I told her. Wait. Wait. Okay. Let's do this together. Here we go. Oh, that didn't help. I gotta hide only my drawings. Okay. All right. So let's walk you through this. Here's this event. Here's the volume. 0.1. Here's 0.2. You can see there was another point where we challenged up here. We'll call this, we'll give it letters as to not confusing in the first example. A, B, C. In the first example for A, the volume was very high. In B, there was an increase of the volume. Okay. This is greater than or equal to the first point. So this indicates we need to be up here. So the next event that should happen after these two should be a higher event. And that's where we're at right now. Okay. That's why we have more incentive to break up. When you see that being the case, you know that the odds are now greater in your favor to go higher. But this is bad for the market, right? Because this is USDT.D. But it's very helpful to know where this is at, so you can understand when you're going to be more likely to break out to one side or the other. So that's why we are here where we're at in C. Okay. Now in C, look at the volume for C. This is very interesting. So somebody can tell me real quick, what's more likely to be the general direction of the market if the volume for C, as we're back here, is down here? The volume is doing what in relationship to points, our first point, A?
Decreasing.
Drying up.
In a big way. Okay. Now let's go back to our photo that I let you guys see, just to remind everybody, so I can walk you through before we take a look at it officially. I like to try to tell you what I'm looking for even before it happens. Okay. So the volume at point 2 was greater than or equal to. We saw that. I didn't measure this other wick here. I should have done that. Would have been easy. But we can see just in a basic sense, in general relation to point 1 or in point A, we see one of these scenarios. In this case, we have a very low demand, almost a no demand situation. The volume is very low. That red line showing the decrease. Okay, I just drew that kind of showing the down arrow. We have a decrease, and that equals the markets possibly drying up. That's actually good to not stay so bearish. Okay, that tells us there's less market for higher prices. Now, again, it's not guaranteed, but it starts letting us know we're looking for a reversal. We're coming up towards the end. We're coming up to a top, possibly. We got to be looking more for those watch lines to be broken. Now, this doesn't mean that I'm okay to buy. When this goes down, your cryptos go up. It does not mean I'm okay to buy. I have to wait for the weakness to come in. And the more immediate weakness is going to be this watch line. Now, how strong is this watch line? By the way, somebody tell me about this watch line, and then we'll wrap it up with USDT.D. But just make an observation, my friends. How strong is this watch line, do you think? This support, okay, in other words, the key angle on the bottom. How strong is it?
It's very strong.
Why? Why do you say that?
Because it's hit multiple times on it.
Yeah. So we can gauge a strength by the multiple times that a watch line is hit. Okay, when we see it hit multiple times, we start thinking to ourselves, okay, there's something going on in this line. So if the lower energy center is maybe here, and I'm hitting it here and here, those are my type of verifications. Okay. Now I can draw it from here to the second point, and then I have one verification, and that's okay. But I'm going to say that there's another component to this watch line that makes it strong. What's another thing that makes it strong? There's actually a few components that make this oscillation, in other words, price moving in that area. This is what we mean by oscillation, price moving up and down in a channel. Okay, that's what I mean by oscillation. There's another component that makes it strong. Somebody tell me what it is. There's a few components. Is it just the times when we hit on the bottom here?
Oh, the confirmations on the top.
The confirmations on the top. The confirmations on the top side along that exact same angle tell us that channel, that sentiment for price moving along this track is the consensus for the bullish and bearish traders within a channel. Okay, it just represents the trading. That means that they all know, because the resistance on top, that's the bottom. Okay, mathematically, the algorithms are programmed in this kind of way already. Okay, that's why trends happen over the years. That's why key angles and phantoms are so, what we call phantoms, are so valid. That's why trend channels have been a thing for a number of years. Okay, the first analysts that ever charted price were charting the feudal rice markets in feudal Japan years ago. Okay, years ago. They were able to do this and track the price of rice because you could see trends in price. So we got channels on top. We got channels on bottom that strengthens the result. So if we come here, we know it's more likely it's on purpose. Okay. There's one more thing that tells us about this trend line, that tells us it's strong. Does anybody know what it might be? Okay. There may be one more thing. Anybody got it?
One more thing within that channel.
Yep.
It's making higher highs, isn't it?
Sure, making higher highs. Yeah, that's what volume's for. We can read more about that. But we're just trying to gauge the strength of this watch line, the bottom one. Okay, for the most part. We know the top one testifies about how strong it is by its angle matching. We know that the verifications tell us it's strong. There's one more component, maybe one or two more components that tell us this line we need to pay attention. The game changes when we break this line. It's not just a line, it's important. Okay, so you guys know when it's time to be bullish the market again. You know when it's time to probably continue to be bearish. Okay, Choya says it is respected by price movement. Sorry, I didn't check the chat. Respected by price movement? Yeah, price is respecting it really nicely. Okay, it's not really playing up and down, but over on the bottom and the top. There's two more, and then let's see if anybody else gets it. I'll put 10 more seconds on the board, and I'll give you the answers. There's something I teach all the time. All the time. I teach it every week, almost. Or at least mention it. It starts with the F.
What does it start with?
F. And there's one more, but...
You've really got me. You've really got me. No idea what you're talking about.
Okay, the egg method, the egg technique that I teach in lesson number 1.
What's the question?
How do we gauge the continued strength or the strength intensity of this line? What are some of the markers that should stand out in a person's mind that tell us the intensity of here? What things testify? We know...
the foundation.
The foundation. Yes.
The foundation.
The foundational area.
Is showing that line drawn. That's how you drew that first line.
Correct.
Based on the foundation.
Okay. The foundational line sometimes contains an angle. At very least, it almost always contains a flow. The foundational area is something we teach often. It's one of the basics. If you don't know where the foundational area is, use the egg technique as we teach in lesson number 1. Draw an egg around the current price.
Are you calling the key angle the foundational line also?
No, but sometimes it is sometimes it is the key angle.
Okay, sometimes, right.
Yeah, oftentimes it is. We have to read the data complete. This is the foundational area. It's basically the beginning half. If you still don't see it and price trend is extremely long, cut it in half again and get to the foundational area. In this case, we would cut that half again, and it would leave us with an area about right here. So this is just a little marker on how you can remember to look and where to pay attention to. So in this beginning, what observations can we make if we were paying attention to that? The answer is really quite simple. This itself is an angle. Okay? This itself is an angle. Don't dismiss the foundational area. It often tells us almost everything we need to know. Now someone could say, maybe the angle is like that. And you could argue for that. But when we start seeing verifications of that, and it's still within alignment within cores and wicks, here's a core, here's a wick, then we can start seeing that we need to pay attention to that angle. Okay, so it just testifies. The foundational area is a big something. Sometimes that angle is not so clear, but when you see it and it matches everything, and it's self-contained, it's a self-replicating world. That's why I always used to take you to the corners, guys, and I said, when you start seeing this shape, think this shape overall. When you see this shape, and you start seeing a lot of these little U's, think this shape overall. How many times have we been right just by using that? How many times have it saved us a headache? We start thinking parabolic overall. We stop thinking straights. Sometimes when we see it really jagged, you can make sure you draw straights. But when you see those nice little curves in the foundational areas where we're going up like that, think the whole thing might be parabolic. Sometimes that's the case. Depending on the types of shapes we're seeing in the foundational area, it gives us a strong clue. In this case, the foundational area gave us the angle that was built in, and that's not always the case. Okay, it's not always the case, but often it is. Okay, use that to gauge your intensity. All of this tells us that we need to pay attention to this angle and this trek. Okay, so we know you're going to be the first to know when the market's going to turn around. More than the TA guys who are watching, whatever YouTube channel you guys are watching, you will know based on the basics that this is intense, this is strong. If the market comes in here, it's often going to be on purpose. If I see pushing volume and I see a very strong volume bar on that down move on this side, and even sustaining move on the other side, in its very strong volume just to get us this side, and then the volume as we come up, it relaxes to a no demand. I know that the market's going to go down with a stronger degree of certainty, or at least this chart, and the market will go up. So we want bullishness in the markets for our cryptos to go up. Otherwise, we want to continue to see this go up so we can take more shorting opportunities. Okay. All right, let's delete all that.
I have a question.
Yep, go ahead.
It looks like it's on top of the mid-phantom, where the mid-phantom would be, so
Yeah.
that's probably not good, right?
It's not respecting mid-phantom anymore, but the mid-phantom did have some verification too, and that was the fourth way I forgot to show you guys here. Okay, mid-phantom is halfway between your bottom angle and your top angle. In other words, in the key and the phantom. Halfway is going to be approximately here, and of that there is some verification, somewhat. Okay. But once we start doing here and we stop respecting, it may not be as important anymore. So it may not be as important a player after it stops disrespecting, but it's something you guys can use. Okay. It's definitely something you can use. For now, just those three will suffice for intensity. So if it was above the middle level, it could be used as a type of bounce and one more factor to think that we might be going up higher. Okay, but it's just something to be aware. But if you start seeing it disrespect, now if we do a really close examination of this angle, is it really disrespecting mid-phantom? Really?
No.
What evidence do we have that it's not really disrespecting it?
Because it started moving. It started moving here. It turned back around like this.
Mm-hmm. Good.
Then it comes through it, and now it looks like it's going to do this.
Good. Did you see it? Now, at first glance, it's okay. It's not as important. Maybe that means something. Okay, but at a second glance, we can see what House just described. He drew it for us. It came down and it came back up and it stopped right there. So there's still some respect to it. We can also see that when we popped above here, we stopped here and here. Let me see if I can draw it. Here and here on the top side. Then when we came to the downside, we stopped on the underside. Then we stopped on the underside twice again, and now we're here. So is it really disrespected? It's great to have a second opinion, right? Thank you, House. Thank you, Lisa. Good catch. Okay. So you guys can use that to your advantage. And that's looking more for the case for more bullishness, this chart, which equals bearishness market. More evidence on why we're probably going to be playing, at least in my opinion. I was having one like this, right? I drew that one for all of you guys a week ago. So that's where we're probably going to be continuing to be in this area. At the very least, that's what I'm, in my opinion, where we're at. All right, let's go back to the volume that we got from the last picture. Okay, the volume is somewhat hopeful. Okay, the volume in this area is telling us when we're here in relationship to area number C, that things are going to change because there's no more incentive for these higher prices, at least at the moment. That means that the market needs to cool down. We're probably going to play back here. All right, let's do something. Let's examine this smaller up segment here. This smaller up segment is going to give us a more immediate watch line. So we have two watch lines I'm going to show you we're going to pay attention to. Let's do a separate chart just highlighting only these principles to keep you on board. Okay, I'm going to move to one that says let's load on our practice chart, and we're going to load up USDT.D. Okay, and we're going to highlight just this last on the daily chart, what we just found. Okay, let's draw our watch line first. Okay, slash key angle. We can just give it a quick label. Watch line or key angle, KA slash watch line. Okay, and then we'll clone it out for the phantom. Somewhere about right there. All right. Now we're going to examine this one, and I'm going to type in where we found this on. So you guys can do this play by play. I'm going to teach you how to do it play by play today, and then I'll look at cryptos. Let's take 6 or 7 more minutes. I'm going to add the keyword daily, so you know. And you can add as many keywords or as few keywords as you want, okay? Just to help you remember some of the principles, if that's all you're doing. Let's make it size 12 so it's not getting in the way too much. But this is going to be one. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to examine just this little up segment to see how I can know if the volume is dried up, where I can take a bullish trade and where it may be dangerous to stop taking short trades. Okay, so right now it's getting close to being dangerous to take short trades. We may hit the top side again, as I mentioned, about 6%. Okay, but there's a way when we may want to start taking bullish trades. So let's recap. So far, this is where I want to start taking bullish trades. Am I okay to take them overall? The answer is no, not yet, because we're not here. Okay. We're still in this area. The signs are that we're going to start reversing, but we're not there yet, and that's around 6%, as we mentioned before. Okay, what type of trades can we take? We can still take short trades, and there comes a point in here within the oscillation that we can start taking trades in the opposite area. So when this is going up, we can make money with bullish trades. Now, in an uptrend, we hunt something. What do we hunt?
Down moves.
We hunt the down move. Okay. Here's an uptrend, and here's the down move. It's basically like that. That's how we knew that one. That's the one I explained earlier. This is where we might want to look for this to bounce. So if this is going up, this is where we want to take short trades. So this would be an okay place for shorts. Shorting. Okay. Okay. It's okay. Nope. There's a little check mark, a green check mark. Okay. Shorting's okay here. There's another time that shorting's okay. It's this one. Something like this. Here, shorting becomes okay. That's why I told you I took a short position. Okay. This is where shorting is okay. So shorting is okay here, and shorting is okay at that time. All right, so we're still within shorting realm. When is it okay to take a bullish trade, even if it's not a long-term bullish trade? To figure that out, we're gonna need to examine this area to see if there's a watch line that's more immediately broken. Now this is not strong enough candles to draw, so if I do any of these things, we're gonna be cutting this time in half to maybe a 12-hour chart and being very careful. Things like this could indicate when it might be okay to take a bullish trade, but we cannot take a bullish trade forever. You need to make sure you get profit and get out, because you can still lose a lot of money in a very quick time. This is going to create strong volatility. But you may also, you say, but this is an uptrend. I don't want to take any bullish trades right now. Correct. You can use this to get out of short trades or know when to cut your losses for a short trade. If I'm in a short trade and I see this stuff going against me, I know to just cut my loss or get out or wait until the market's more clear. Okay, we're going to do that together, and then you guys are going to know what's going to happen this week. As I mentioned, this week we're starting to slow down, but let's go a little bit further and break this segment. This is already a daily chart, so we're going to go to cut the time in half to a 12-hour. And if it's still not enough candles, then I'll go to a 6-hour. Let's go to a 6-hour just for fun. All right, there we go. All right, so on this chart, I have a little bit more play-by-play stuff that I can use. Here would have been that short, okay? This is when we broke above this area. That's going to be good for shorts. So shorts are okay to take a short position here. Okay, that's when we can make money by betting the market will go down. Okay, where can we take positions that indicate the markets, this is going to go down and the markets will go up? Somebody show me when it's okay to take a bullish position in the market based on the principles of the watch line. Oh, this is so good. Coffee. Okay, that's one. Good. Let's see. Somebody drew this one. Okay, it's about right there. So we're going to say somewhere underneath here is actually going to be good for the next trade going down. That's going to be bullish trade. Good. And this one's going to be short trade. Back here, short trade. And remember, it's hard because we have to think opposite. When this goes up, that means you can bet down. When this goes down, you can bet the market up. So right now, are we okay to enter a bullish position right now, based on just this principle? Okay. Am I able to enter any buys today based on probably this? If this is all I have.
No.
No. Okay. Where else might we be okay to enter a bullish position? There's one more on here.
If we close here.
Okay, that might be good. This might be an area we can watch. Good job, House. We have to have a reason. We may be able to zoom this down to a 4-hour chart and come out here. My personal style is I like to be bouncing off a support and then into a health. In this case, I want to come from here and then enter this side. And once I'm on that side, I have the confirmation I need to take the trade. Otherwise, I'm not so convinced that we're not just going to come up. I have a higher chance that if I'm already coming out of the resistance. But that's my personal style. You can just enter a position here, but what is dangerous about this area?
You really have to watch it because you could break above it and then do this here.
Yep, we can break above it and do that there, just like you drew. Good job. Okay. Now, that's why we often draw resistances like this. We'll draw one on the bottom, and then we'll draw the health marker on top. We do that all the time here because that's decision time. Now, until then, we can actually use this to save us because sometimes we just don't need to worry about taking any trades at all until we're at those decision-making points. Okay. Price can continue bouncing, and we don't have to worry about anything. Just be at peace until we reach those areas. So if you have evidence that you know where the tops and bottoms already are, then just keep and continue to move them up along the track. Move those up along the track until you get to those areas, okay? So that's scenarios that we can use. Now there's one more I want to show you. There's one more watch line I want you guys to point out. So you tell me when it's okay to take bullish trades. Where's the other one? There's one more. Who got it? Okay, maybe that angle, it may be right now. If we reject strongly right here in this area, let me show you, and come down, we may want to use that as an energy center, and then we can maybe look for a resistance along that track, something like that. That might be one, but right now that hasn't been revealed. There's one that has been revealed. I want you to try again, see if you can see it. Okay, try again. There's one more. Think about what I just taught you and reminded you about the foundational areas. I'll give you the answer in 10 seconds. I want to see if somebody can catch it. Okay, here's the answer. This is an energy center, and this is an energy center. What angle is this?
A key angle.
Draw it. Is this the
accelerated adjustment zone?
Yes, correct. And this is why the foundational angle doesn't always match the more dominant angle within the oscillation. Okay, so if this is the angle that's the foundational area based on its foundation, right now the dominant angle that is being played is this one in yellow. It's not this one down here. Therefore, if you do enter a bullish position, you have to be wary that things may change against you here along this track. And we can always calculate the price anytime. So again, we don't care about the price. I don't care. I care about the angle and what's coming. That foundational area is what caused this to move up. It's what caused this to move up. So we pay attention to it and we watch it. This will also indicate when the next when the next bullish trade will trigger. It will trigger here. So here, the bullish trade may trigger. I'm giving you this kind of as a reference. The more you see me do this all the time, sitting behind my shoulder, the more you're going to mark it on your own charts and see it. Bullish trades. Okay. Bullish trades, okay, under here, or at least with higher risk. With less risk. Underneath this area and underneath this area. Okay. When you bounce, if we have a smaller watch line that's broken out of here, we're going to be thinking to ourselves, I still want to be bearish. And that's why we wait for more confirmation. We wait for these two. This is where we can bounce out, and then if there's another watch line, I'm not saying there's going to be a more stronger watch line here, because sometimes you just might go straight down. But if we did have a watch line and I'm still bearish, or I have reasons to believe I'm still going to be playing up here, then what I'm going to do is I'm going to look to take and enter some bearish prices at pullbacks, because I know that the market's still going to go down when this is going up. Play by play, let's just clean this up just a bit, just to remind you of some of the stronger possibilities. Right now, the data has given us this as an image. Okay, me minus these angles. Bullish trades here, and until then, only short trades. We got to be careful and watch this. Okay, if this breaks out, then that's going to be shorting again. So when this moves up, shorting, okay. If this moves into this territory, this is actually a shorting opportunity. Okay, remember, this moves opposite of the market. Okay, so if I'm moving here, that's also the bullish, that's the same bullishness. Okay. All right. Do we have any questions about this and how you can gauge and use this oscillation, especially if you've done your homework? You did the homework. You verified that the oscillation was strong. You verified it was respecting your mid-phantom. You verified everything. So now pay attention to what the data gave you. The picture told you about this oscillation, how strong it is. You know that the market is going to go up if we enter these areas. You know that if you're building under here, you're probably going to have a higher odds to come to the bottoms, and then you have to watch what you're going to do. We watch what we do at these areas, so you know when the bullish trades will trigger even before everybody's doing all of their analysis. You're the first to know when it's okay to enter and when it's okay to exit, or at least with higher degree of confidence. Okay, combine that with all of your other analysis, and you're going to be fantastic. Whatever indicators you're trading, whatever, you guys are going to be fine. Just draw your map first. Okay. All right. Any other questions regarding?
Yes.
Yes.
What's the percentage of that bottom? Is that 5% or 4.5%?
Right now it's around 4.8%. This one right here is going to be rising, but right now it's closer to 5.5. And right now the current one is around 5.38. The top right now is 5.75%. Okay. So those are going to be some numbers. Now this is hard to see, so let me see if I can change this to white. Okay. Oops, what happened? It just crashed my photo. I gotta recreate that. All right. Let me do that real quick for you guys. Okay.
Screenshot before it wiped off. You want me to put it in the chat?
Yeah, put it in the chat. That'll save somebody some of that stuff. Okay. All right. That one's matching wick match, so I'm going to be paying attention to that side. Okay, we're going to look at cryptos, but you guys are getting a good idea of what to do. So we'll draw like that. We'll draw our health markers the same way we do, but we're going to put boxes around them so you guys can get a good idea of the truth. Okay, so even though this is weakness, the box around it is green, so that means you take bullish trades. Okay, and when it's green, the box around it is, if it's red, the box, then that lets you know you're okay to take short trades. So that's going to be one, and then right now the more immediate watch line, it's going to be that angle like that. So yeah, we're still in shorting territory, but the volume is letting us know that things are going to change, so we'll put a yellow marker. All right, this is the manual. Okay, VSA. Okay, so you'll be the first. In the short term, no, but this is a 6-hour chart, so we may see it. We'll know it when it happens. All of us will be the first to know it. Recreate this chart by yourself. You will be the first to know we need weakness to enter this crypto, right? Then that's going to be bullish. That lets me know I need to exit my short trades. Should I exit my short trades right now based on this data? Okay.
No.
No. Okay. Yep, that's right. Okay. So take a screenshot right now if you want to. Okay, take a screenshot right now. This is going to help you guys understand some of these things. Recreate the angles. It's going to look different when you squeeze and pull, so it's not just like a 45-degree angle or anything like that, but it'll get you in the ballpark to recreate the work. It's not that hard, right? Just drawing some pictures. You guys can draw. You guys are great. Okay, now we're going to keep this in mind with every crypto we look at. Let's take a look like SHIBA, for example. Okay, let's go to SHIBA. Oh, that moved up.
I had a dream.
Go ahead.
A dream the other night, or like more a vision when I woke up on Sunday morning. I'm pretty sure I saw Gala at 0.007.
Is that higher or lower than we're at right now?
It's way lower. It's way lower. 0.07 is 0.7 of a penny. And then I saw the chart. What appeared to be the chart, and the candles were in a downward motion, and I'm pretty sure I saw 0.007, and then I saw it go back up again from there. I saw it.
Okay. All right, and that's on Gala. Okay. Can you? I'm not looking at Gala today. Can you please?
No, that's fine.
Can you write?
Put it on the watch list for Wednesday, maybe.
Yeah. And let me write that down, House, so I can make sure I put your prophetic. Can you turn that off? Oh, thank you, sweetie. Is it possible to turn on the AC? I'm sweating at a storm.
I think Ian also had seen it at one point in time below around a penny mark, if I remember correctly.
And what was your number? 0.07, you said?
No, 0.007.
0.007. Wow.
Yeah.
Thank you, Hans. Okay. Okay, so let's now go to SHIBA. We're going to take what we learned and we're going to go back to our normal dive chart. Load dive. And you guys can do this too, guys. If you don't know how to do that, I'll just show you real quickly. Look quickly at my screen. If you want to practice with your charts on TradingView, go to your little bracket right here next to my finger where my finger's pointing. On the bracket, that's gonna open the full screen. It is this one right there. Yeah, this one where the little, my finger's getting cut off here. Here, it's this little symbol right there where my mouse is going. Okay, and then you're gonna go to this area here, and you're gonna click on the little drop down. You're gonna click on New, and you can make and rename a chart layout so you can practice on those. All right, so do that. Yeah, right. Let's get to let's go to the, see today of our volume still up here. We want to be really careful on USDT.D not to have super strong volume here. At the moment, it's starting to go in the right direction, but still not enough to turn us around. So just keep in mind.
Do you think we should look at USDC because the dominance is over 2%? Just to compare. I wish we could put them both together, but haven't found that chart yet.
Yeah, maybe I'm going to have to add that. USDCD. Okay, maybe we'll add that on.
I can give up my request if you're going to run out of time.
Okay, I haven't checked the request list, but I will in just a little bit. Okay, let's continue with SHIBA. Okay, let's do SHIBA. All right, this is this area I told you guys where I'm, because based on the volume, it's looking like we're going to be coming to these lower areas, what I mentioned last time. You guys saw me leave you guys last off with that, and that's where we're at right now, okay? We're now in this territory, okay? We're now in this territory. I'm going to fade this away for right now. We'll come back. But in my previous chart, type in SHIBA, you're going to see me tell you, I believe we're going to play in this area. Now, the territory and supports in this area, I've already given everybody, so you all have them, but they're here at 0.00001013 to 5094. 4 zeros 10 to 5094. We may lose a zero, or sorry, gain a zero. That's negative for SHIBA. Now this might actually be an opportunity to possibly short SHIBA. We're going to need to continue to look. There's also a sword cut here at 4 zeros 10 to 4 zeros, sorry, 10.9 to 4 zeros 10.01. Okay, a big gap. But in any case, this is where we're in. Now, I'm not in a healthy area for SHIBA, so I'm not okay to buy SHIBA. And SHIBA first started getting weak underneath that line here. So when we were building on the underside of that, was the first sign that we should jump ship out of SHIBA. Come here on March 2nd. Okay, this was telling us SHIBA is not strong right now. The watch line for that moment was the larger key angle as well. Okay, or larger area. So this was telling us that. Now I was honored because I had an important person in our community. She said to me, what did she say? Jay Song, I need to devote this summer to learning the TA because you were right about SHIBA. And I'm not always right, but we catch a lot of stuff, right? We can catch a bulk of the stuff. And doesn't take a rocket scientist to start seeing some of these oscillations crossing over and what they mean. And when I told people I got out of the market because I saw weaknesses and I saw stuff not sitting in right or in the positions, this is the type of stuff I meant. Okay, this is the type of things we talk about when we see weaknesses starting to appear. Okay, markets rejecting at some of these tops. We know where those tops are. We know when the watch lines are broken, and you guys can do it too. All of you can start catching the weaknesses and watching it play by play. The next support is down here, and that's where we bounced before the next weakness after that was revealed underneath, and so forth and so on. So right now the next big support is under here. So let's talk about the more recent weakness for SHIBA so you guys can maybe even possibly take a short. I'm going to be paying attention to this oscillation up here. I'm going to show you how you can navigate SHIBA. Okay, I'm going to show you live right here. Here is your foundational area. This is not really a tutorial, but I am going to go fast. I did the tutorial on USDT.D. Now I'm going to do this for you, the hard work. Here's your energy center. Here's your energy center. This is your angle. That's your watch line. Okay, we already labeled it for you. Watch line.
Jay,
yeah?
you're frozen.
Am I frozen? Okay. All right, here we go. Use this one. Okay, you're going to see buttons on the screen, but it'll still work for you, okay? Okay. Can you guys see? Am I still frozen?
You're good.
Okay, you're going to see extra buttons on here, but that's so fine. Okay. Now watch. This is your watch line. This is your two key angles that create that key angle. This is a watch line. You can also call it a key angle. But we use it if we're looking to break to one side. We can use that to say we watch that. That's why I sometimes call my key angles watch lines often. The underside, which is the phantom, is placed on the lower energy centers primarily in the foundational area. If I place it here, this is actually a verification. So when price was bouncing along that angle, I have more confidence that this watch line is strong and I need to pay attention to it. Okay? If we're going to break out, that's where I need to break out. It needs to happen to show me it has strength to rise. Otherwise, it's still being beaten down. And I only hunting in the trend, I hunt the up moves. And sometimes the up moves are straight across, but those up moves help me take short trades. Short and even the oscillation itself. Okay, so we're going to talk about the oscillation now. So now it's telling me the top and the bottom. Okay, it's telling me there's a top here and the bottom is here. So therefore, if I was to ask myself a question today, you guys answer me. Where am I on the map? Help me
You're playing below that line.
Is that good or is that bad?
That's bad.
It's very bad. SHIBA is what we call sickness. It's not safe, especially if we get this close here. Now we got a day, right? But if I close about this price and it looks about this, that's more odds that I'm going to now continue lower, probably rapidly. It's not good. It's basically breaking its own resistances. It's on the bottom side. And this is where I start feeling more comfortable to enter a short for SHIBA. Okay, so positionally, this is not looking good. All right, great. is there anything I can use to determine if I'm going to be going lower besides just structure? Okay, already, as I told you, it's looked like we're going to come here in my last report a week ago or so, when I last looked at SHIBA. But right now, what can we use to determine if we're going lower? Is there anything that is going to give us a big clue that we are more okay to take a short trade on SHIBA and make some money on the way down?
Close below that level.
Okay, the close.
Right on that line.
Yeah, the close, that helps. Okay, anything else besides the structure? Volume. What am I looking for in the volume? How would the volume help me?
High volume.
Okay. What would high volume indicate, and what would high volume indicate? It's a down bar, so sometimes the down bar would indicate buying, but there's a big something I can use that, in this case, would help me determine if the cake is ready. In other words,
it shows a lot of people selling it.
Okay. It could show a lot of
High
selling.
volume.
It could be a type of pushing on the way down. To confirm this, we could use this up bar right here. If we have a very high up bar right here, yet we stop, then that means that this was pushing and this was a type of sustaining. That means they deliberately brought the market down, and now they're trying to stop it here. So high volume or even a low volume, the one of those two. I don't really want an average volume, but I want a very high, indicating they're really jumping ship. But this one, for the first one, I want it even higher. Okay, so I would run a really high volume for that one. This one, it could be equal or somewhere even average, and that as a pair would indicate dumping. Okay, if I get those closes underneath it, that might be something. But preferably I want the one that's the no demand. That means that they pushed it hard and now nobody's interested in buying it. And then you're gonna see it fall like that. Easy. Okay, that's a classic. Okay. So that might be one. But there's something else that's a lot more simpler than all of that. There's a clue on the picture here. There's a clue that we can use. But yes, we need to be looking at volume. That's the answer. But there's something else we're looking for in the volume that's much simpler than what I just explained. It doesn't have to be complex. Who cuts it? Who catches it?
Can we do targeting?
We could use targeting, but we'd have to have a previous area. But there's a much simpler answer. Target probably going to give us targets down here.
No demand.
Okay, we can look for no demand. That would indicate in relationship to what? I would say in relationship to what? Okay, look carefully at the screen. There's a clue here. You're all missing. I want you to catch it. It's simple.
Hidden selling?
Okay, could be hidden selling, but we need to read it in relationship to something else. Circle the area I need to compare this to. Where's the VZB? I teach you that in lessons 15, 16, and 17. Where's the VZB for this? And what does the VZB reveal? It reveals where we should be comparing this to.
Oh, that previous long
Yes.
bar down.
Yes. That's right. Look. Pay attention, everybody. What the heck is this? This is a wick. That wick closed way up here, came all the way back down here. Where are we? We are there.
That same spot.
There's the VZB, the volume zone block. We're in that same spot. So therefore, we can do something. We can compare these together. We can be looking in these areas. In other words, in area 1 and in area 2. Okay? This is going to help me determine, this is again how I determined we were going higher for USDT.D. This is how I knew that XDC was going to fall. This is how I knew, this is how we catch a lot of stuff. It's actually quite simple. Once you have the map, this is a very vital component we've added to Sword Method 6.0. We've added volume spread analysis to determine the more highly likelihood of a breakdown or a breakup. So let's do this together. I'm going to hide my lines until you guys get it. I'm not always going to be here, and I want to leave you with some of these powerful ways to get by. Okay? I'm going to show you what we're going to look at before I even look at it. Okay? So you know I'm not just making this up. What I want to see, we'll label this level, we'll even do this one too. February 1st. This is February 1st. Approximately. It's something like that. So I'll just label it A, B, and C. How about that? Yeah. We're gonna call this level letter A. We'll call this letter B. And we'll call this letter C. Okay, so we know what we're talking about. If on the first volume, I think that's February 3rd actually, it's really high, it's probably going to be high. If I come to the second area in the VCB, which is area B, and the volume is higher, what is supposed to happen next? The answer is, and I'll give you the answer, we're supposed to challenge that area again. So if I have a volume that's very high, either in one of two ways, in relationship to the first area, in this case it's A, if it's equal to or greater than, in this case it's, yeah, if this one right here is equal to or greater than this area, greater than, then most likely we're supposed to challenge again. So that means we're supposed to be here. If the volume is still high, even if there's buying, guys, even if there's buying, if it's still high, that means we're going to see lower prices. That's what that means. It means there's lower prices in the market. That's what that means. Even if there's buying, they have not fully removed the supply. That's all it means. They weren't successful in launching the supply. So therefore, you're going to continue looking for low prices. And to short that, all you need to do is just find your support and look for the breakdown, and then continue shorting until your next support, then take your profit. So that's one scenario. If I see the high volume and I see a low volume here at point B, and I see at point C even lower, I know that we're more looking for a bounce out because they've absorbed the supply, and that's going to be a successful absorption. So if we see something like that, we're looking more to the high side.
And what do you call this analysis? VZB?
No, VZB, the volume zone block. Okay, the volume zone block in lessons 14, 15, 16, plus my monologue in lesson 17, talk about the VZB on how we might be able to use it. But I need to film more videos about this, but I have done a lot of tutorials about volume. It lets us know what in relationship we're comparing each other to. This helps us stack the odds in our favor even more. So one of these scenarios, either scenario number 1, which is going to be like that, or in this case the scenario number 2. Let's see what we're going to see. Okay, and if it's not clear, it's not clear. Don't see something that's not there. We'll just call this scenario number 2, and we'll see what we have. Okay, so this is the 2 things I'm looking for. We teach this all the time. Type tutorial. In the last month, I've done like maybe 4 tutorials about volume. You get lots of practice. And this is going to be scenario number 2. How about that? Scenario number 1 or scenario number 2, and we'll find out which one it is. Okay, here we go. Let's turn on the volume, and we'll see what we got. Okay. Okay. For our February 3rd day, the volume was, and I'll make sure I put ABC first just to mark these areas. Here's B, and then there's C right here. Okay. The volume was very high. Okay, very high. At area B, it wasn't so high, but it was high in relationship to itself, at least for the past month. So it's still high. So even though it's not equal, and it's not greater than, it is still high in relative to its relationship to itself. So this is going to be something that it's going to be a little bit, you don't want to, it's still reason to bring it down. Okay. Now, we comparing these especially on the down bar, but you can use them as pairs. But if I'm anything, I'm comparing the low. Okay. In this last move, in relationship to these 2 areas, what is the volume like?
No demand now?
It's a low demand. It's very low. It may not be no demand, but it's low. Okay. Compared to point B, point C, is very low. It's low demand, maybe no demand. Okay. Low demand, no demand. Okay. Maybe something like that is going to be more no demand, but the low still has some activity. It's still average, but in relationship to the other two, it's a decrease. So we read these as buying. We read these in those contexts as, oh, so possible buying. We don't have any breaks to take any bullish trades, but the volume is doing something. It is drying up. Okay. The VZB is therefore showing that it's more for scenario number 1. Okay, or which was really scenario number 2. I just labeled them in the wrong order. And I'll show you that picture. So it looks like the volume is being absorbed. Okay, so in this case, I got to be careful shorting SHIBA longer term because the volume is not indicating that we should stay here longer. Okay, so the volume on its own is letting us know that this is more in alignment with not this image, we'll delete that one, but rather this one. Okay, there was the scenario, scenario 1, and this is what's played out. Okay, so absorption seems to be taking place. So therefore, I have one case that is telling me, hey, I'm weakness structurally, but the volume's saying, hey, but don't count me out. So I want to be careful shorting SHIBA. I don't like where it's positioned, but I want to be careful shorting it right now at the moment because it's not looking like the market wants lower SHIBA prices. Right now, we may be at the low. Now, there's something else we can do about this chart. We compared it to this area, but step back. Can somebody else give me something else we can do for this in the volume? What other things might we want to do now that we're here? We compared area A and B together. What else can we do for SHIBA to give us a better indication? Am I okay to take short trades? How can we use the volume to help us? Somebody explain it. There you go. Who circled that?
I did.
Good. Did you see what she circled? She circled this area here. She said, whoa, we got one more area we can do. Now, overall, the volume is down here. That means this may be in danger of turning up. But we have a very large structure back here that we can't ignore because the short-term traders may not be able to beat out the institutional traders that have been entering or buying for years or lost money for years, or the large amount of buyers or sellers that were in this for very long. Yes, you may have just got in here, but your little money means nothing in the longer story. So we read it again in relationship. And this time we're going to look at a weekly chart. Okay? So this indicates overall buying is coming in, and we may want to look for the watch lines to be broken. But we're going to do what we just did again. So right now, things are looking on the up and up. But the structure is still bearish, short term. So we're not okay to take buys even if we wanted to. But this is where we would enter a buy for SHIBA. Right now, it's not looking good, but it may tell us we need to watch. Let's compare the larger VZB and see what we're going to see. Now we're going to do exactly the same thing we just did. I got a few points. Let's give them another label. Let's call this 1, 2, 3, 4. Just maybe four of these points that we're looking at. Maybe that one. But for right now, we'll just give those numbers. If I see the volume was really high here and low and lower, I know that there's a successful absorption. If that's the case, we'll call that scenario number 1. If we see the volume has very high volume and even higher volume and even higher volume, for certain we know the market's coming down. We'll call that scenario number 2. Okay. So this is what we're going to look for. We're going to look to see these main scenarios. If we see them, we know what's going to happen. We're going to be looking for SHIBA to hit much lower prices. So far, even if there is buying, the buying has to be compared in relationship to everything. This is all the macro view, by the way. That's why I draw it in yellow. Okay, so let's do this together. Weekly chart. Let's label some of these volumes areas. There's 1, there's 2, here's 3, here's 4, since we're there right now. Here's the volume for area number 1. Here's the volume for area number 2. It was an increase. That indicates there's supposed to be another challenge. We challenged it at 0.3. The volume is still high, still an increase, so therefore we should challenge it again. Okay, so that's why we're here. So overall, we keep seeing reasons, and let me change these arrows green so it helps you remember what's happening. Okay, so we keep seeing an increase in volume. However, this last is where things change or start to change. In area number 4, the volume starts to turn here. But these increases at these areas still indicate we need to be lower. So therefore, in relationship, even if there's buying, the buying is probably not going to be enough to turn around SHIBA because of these increases here. It's more likely we're going to still see lower prices, but maybe not super low prices. Maybe not super low, maybe not, we're not looking to come way down here. Okay? But it's starting to change, but it's not looking the best for SHIBA. Okay? So it makes sense why we're going to be more bearish than we're actually be bullish. Okay? It makes sense why we're going to be looking to stay low, but not super low. So what we're going to do is we're going to raise the circle and just maybe put it here. Okay, so the analysis is that SHIBA is not ready. The short-term structure, let's review just everything. The analysis that SHIBA is not ready. Short-term, the prices are being absorbed. Short-term, the prices are being absorbed. But longer-term, it's more like this scenario. Scenario 2. So I'm going to delete this one because that's not really what we see. We only see the startings of it. It's not super bad, but it's not super good either. Okay, so this is going to be a little bit more slightly bearish. To denote this, I'm going to put my analysis. Now again, if I saw in this last period in relationship that volume really strong and a strong, even stronger increase, I know for a certain we're getting really low. But since it's only slightly turning in our favor, we're going to say we're just going to be slightly low. So I'm going to put this word slightly low for SHIBA. I hope you guys are learning stuff you can apply. Slightly lower. We're not looking for SHIBA to go crazy crash, but slightly lower. SHIBA should be slightly lower, somewhere in here in this category. Maybe not here, but somewhere here. Okay. Therefore, let's look at our map. Okay. So let's put it all together and determine what we can take on SHIBA. I'm not looking for SHIBA to take super profit, super mega shorts. Structurally, we're in sick area, and what does it match? It matches our lower supports here. We're not looking to be like super low, but we're probably going to be looking to come at least to the low. Okay, which is there where we've already determined. Okay, any questions for SHIBA? Okay, any questions? I'll probably enter a short on SHIBA. I'll probably want to enter a short on SHIBA if the opportunity presents itself. Hunting some of these up moves. I would like another up move before I enter a short on SHIBA. Short, sword cut, maybe the sword cut right now. That was a couple hours ago. I would like another type of move like that, but maybe I might be looking for a short on SHIBA if another opportunity presents itself. I don't have an entry at the moment, so I'm probably going to wait for SHIBA, but I'm going to be looking to take some type of short possibly. Okay. I want to get those good prices before I jump on the train. Okay, I'll leave you that. Okay, let's look at cryptos today. Did I see any questions for SHIBA? Nope. Okay.
I was just out of the meeting for half an hour, so just checking.
Yeah.
Oh, quick question for you as well, I thought.
Yep.
I was just wondering what the chances, seeing as there's not really anyone from Asia attending the meetings anymore. What is the chance of having them an hour later?
What do you guys think? Would you like me to change the time? Which meetings? The Monday and Wednesday?
Yeah, ideally, I would have to leave my voluntary work probably. So yeah, if it remains this way.
Okay.
So.
Let me.
I think a fair few people would be up for that because it means getting up a little bit later. I know there'd be a lot of people up for it, so maybe we can have a vote or something.
Yeah. Put it in the chat if you guys want me to change the times. Otherwise, I'll get it. Sometimes before work is good for some people, and sometimes it's too early, sometimes it's late. But I might consider changing the Wednesday meeting an hour later. That was our primary Asian session. Okay, let's go to. I'm going to do some of these cryptos, give you my thoughts. I will not do a tutorial. It's going to be in the similar. Can't do targeting system. You're in new territory. You can use some of these angles here. Yep, there's going to be your bottom. It's on the wick side, closer to the wick side. Your bottom is closer to here at 7 cents, 0.74 cents.
This one goes back to 2021. I'm not sure how far yours goes back.
Oh, this is a 2024. Here's MBOX on. Yeah, you got a long time to wait for this to do really well. Here's another look at it. I'll give you that more immediate watch line we just drew right now. But you got a long time to wait. I'll show you why. You have a large parabolic that's comprised of an angle somewhat like this, which means that your larger health doesn't necessarily occur even if you break above your oscillation. Okay, so if I get to health somewhere above here, even if I do, I get here, and that's going to give me a strong delay territory. So you got a lot of strong resistance here. So we're going to make sure you put a health, but you need to put a border that's yellow around it so you know that it's delay. Okay, it's going to waste your time. That health really levels out somewhere about here, and then you can draw flat. So if all you were doing was just drawing a flat, draw a flat, yellow flat, and you're going to put at these prices, 22 cents, 20 cents. Which means if you take any bullish trades, only take it up to 20 cents. Be careful. The lower side of the parabolic, I'm going to bring it straight down, can bring us there, and your mid-phantom, which is your halfway point, is going to be somewhere about right there. Mid-phantom has respect here and basically back here, although it could be adjusted. So if you see you're getting caught in one side, be careful. Make sure your watch lines are broken before you take any bullish trades. At the moment, this whole area is bearish. Right there, see? You should be going down. Okay. I'm going to leave this alone unless you're actively shorting this. Are you actively shorting this? Who is this, Toya?
Butterfly asked for it, but
Butterfly?
she's not on right now.
Okay. So Butterfly.
And she said MBOT, but I'm pretty sure it's MBOX because they don't have a crypto called MBOT.
Yeah.
I was looking at her requests.
Let me add a few more prices on here, and then I'll move on. MBOT is a stock. If you're asking about the stock, let's just do both. You're not here to defend yourself. MBOX. I will give a few thoughts. Look at all these shapes here. So we're thinking this overall, which means we still got to pay attention to this. I'll give it to you. So your watch line for health is going to be something along here, and you're not there anytime soon. So for this stock watch, we should be able to see absorption in this quite easily for this one. You should be able to see absorption quite easy because we're at the lower side. So that is a strong increase in volume. A very strong increase in volume. So therefore I'm thinking lower prices. Okay. Okay, this is the opposite of absorption, and if it is buying, it's losing. Okay, therefore this is telling us there's lower prices to come. Okay, and even at the more recent challenge, there's still very high volume. Oh, that's not the one, not the last one. This one, that would be for that one. So therefore, we're still looking for lower prices to come. If you're hunting the down move, it's going to be something like that. Here's a short trade. This one's flat, so you're going to probably look for this area as your next big weakness. And those prices are about 75 cents. Somewhere about 75 cents. All right. You can use this angle to help you with the bottom to project how far you should be going. Let me see if I can get the angle somewhere really low. Like it's gonna fall. I'm not looking for this one to do well, at least anytime soon. Okay. All right. Next crypto is gonna be Quant. Q-U-A-N-T. Okay, it looks like I got it on KuCoin. Where are my lines on this one? QNT. And I don't see my lines. Well, why not? Yeah. It's okay. I don't like the very ultra high volume on the up bar, but I don't like it. On the weekly chart into this weakness area. Let's go to a 2-day chart, see if I can get this a little bit clearer. I'm gonna draw, I would be drawing that, looking for your big health up there, Ian. That's gonna be one I'm gonna be looking, I would look at if I was you. The other thing about this crypto, I think I mentioned this before, I'm not sure if I did, but look at these bottoms, they're like this, so you get a shape like this. This is gonna form a very unique type of angle. Gesture is gonna be helpful for that one. So I'd pay attention to those if I was you. And then it'll paint a picture of basically what's happening right now. This will therefore level off somewhere about here. I really would want some stronger structure in there. And then we're going to use a different parabolic angle and color. This is also going to level off. Let me see if I can do the wick side. So somewhere about right here. Okay. Pay attention to the smaller game. Yeah, strong resistance, strong pullback. Bearish.
Jason, you did Quant in January, and you did it on Binance, and you did a pretty deep dive on it. So I don't know if you want to pull that chart up.
Okay, I'm going to put. Why does not Binance have that same one that I saw at the bottom? Why is it not there? Okay, I have the leveled out here, and I have this one here. So it's still in the same area, although there's more evidence on the other chart for it. So we're gonna still pay attention to these two primary areas: 146, $57. Right now, this is a more immediate weakness that you're still in. Be careful. I wouldn't be looking to take any bullish trades on this. You're still in another weakness. Look for this to hit lower, and then the more immediate, something like this week. You still got a lot of volume here at these lows. You still got a lot. It's not super bearish, like you're going to see a super bearish low at the moment, but it's a lot. And then these two areas back here indicate you're coming here. So just pay attention to what I'm showing you right here. Okay? This and that. Boom. It indicates you need to play here. So don't be surprised if QNT is coming low. Even though right now it's not super bad, the larger game is indicating such. Wait, hold on. Angle that. Oh, it is that one. Okay. Yeah. Okay. The larger game is indicating that you still have reasons to be going lower, shorter term. And longer term, right now, you need to play here anyway. Back in your VZB. I'm going to say, I'm going to be looking to short Quant. If you can find it. if you can find an entry. This one I'm going to be looking to short, if possible. Let's see if I can find you a jumping on entry. You get any pullbacks, you probably want to be looking at something like this, guys. The last entry was not so long ago, the flat here. I don't have another entry for you right now, my friends, to short this. If you are cracking your watch line, you may want to pull back from your short position and look for another entry if possible on a new watch line. But I don't have another watch line, so I'll just leave it like that. The money that's on the table for the downside or to short, 22% it looks like downside. But if you're gaining that, if we're looking at as a gain, it would, I think it's measured the same way. Let me see from the bottom side. Yeah, about 16 to 20%, something like that. The larger target's probably going to be $57, so you may even be able to make more than that. So here's 28%. Yeah, so something like 28% for QNT. Okay, any other questions for Quant? I'll give you some prices. You'll be on your merry way. Okay, $68, $80, dynamic minus. Okay. Angelina says, over in Australia, the Monday and Saturday meetings start at 1 a.m. in the morning. Here, it's very difficult if the meeting starts any later. For Wednesday, starting 1 hour later is fine. Time changed in America for some reason. We're all on that watch line. Let's go to AUDIUS. AUDIUS.
Any way of looking at whether it's like one eventually in the long term does finally break out? Like, I don't know how it could go, what percent gain might be on the table?
Ian, it looks like the microphone might be cutting off. I don't know if it's just me.
Oh, sorry.
Okay, I can hear you clear. What were you saying, my friend?
Right, yeah. I just wonder if finally a Quant comes into strength, whether it's a crypto that might have a decent percent gain on the table, like
Okay.
other some areas that, because it's just that, yeah, when Trump did the talk, he showed that World Cup thing and they spent 5 minutes of meeting talking about it. And it was like a quantum symbol. And yeah, so I'm just trying to figure out if that was like a sign towards a crypto. Could it be Quant?
Yeah. Within its natural structure, for any of the bullish moves, if you get the moves back down to 55, you might be looking there for probably a good entry. But you're looking to come up here to the major resistance, which is right now around 144%. So 144% based on its normal oscillation, and then anything above there, provided we can get out of some of these areas, up to the $589 area, that's quite a lot. And so if Trump makes any big announcements and you see some volume and prices get pushed and we get some closes above there, maybe that can help us bounce out of these areas or a strong pushing volume. But for that, we really want to see a heavy accumulation campaign.
Is there any way we could do
I don't have it.
targeting system? Because
No,
this
not
is
for-
pretty important crypto.
Not for that high, because it's new territories. You could do it up to 300, but right now we've already hit these areas so many times. So if I measure it here, from here to here, we're probably already hit here a few times, so that's not going to be so valid. That's why I'm saying that. If you measure this down here, that would be more your immediate answers for what you're looking for. To answer your questions, we'll do that real quick. I'll go to a daily chart. Probably we're already below whatever targets may be established here. So let's just quickly give it to you, which would indicate a bearishness. With this one, this actually comes back because there's two lows. Here. Where's the volume? Hold on. Maybe it didn't drop right. Try again. Okay, so your support for the targeting system would have left you here and these two up here. And we'll just say this as the range to account for those two. Sell, you can already tell what I just said is the case. So that's your resistance. That's where you've been rejecting off of. This is our support. You know what I mean? Nothing new. Except this is bearish. Okay? Because now we start playing below that area. Okay? So we're not going to pay attention too much. You can leave this on if you want to, but I would fade them away because they're not active at the moment. So that's not going to help us at this moment. Targeting system's not going to help us at this moment. You want to be concerned with what happens at your low. Okay? The volume is indicating we're getting down here. Okay? So I'm going to be bearish. Okay? The data is telling me I need to be playing down there. And because of that, we got to pay attention to what happens there. We want to see the volume dry up and then this move into health. The health move is going to be somewhere, even this is parabolic. Yeah, even that's parabolic. So something like that would probably indicate where your next big health marker is more immediately at. But in this case, you would, if you're trying to calculate a few moves ahead, you would therefore want something like the following. I'll draw it for you, okay? I would want, therefore, a move down to here, and then I would want a bounce out to this area and come into health. If I get here, I would move here. If I see the volume is very low in relation, okay? So we want low volume in relation to these areas. So that means I want the volume to decrease, okay? VSA, okay, or volume spread analysis. So that's what I'm going to be looking for in the volume. Any questions, my friends? So it means we don't look at it right now. All the data is still telling us we should be playing here, okay, in the volume. And the chart is matching that with the weaknesses, okay? Going once. Any other questions, comments? Quant. And then again, paying attention to 146. We're not looking for this to go to the moon at the moment. Okay. Unless we see a heavy buying campaign. And as I mentioned in the volume, I don't see a huge buying campaign. So why would they just buy it on the way up high? We need to see them enter. We need to see them enter in big ways. And all we have is pushing volume at the here, maybe pushing volume, selling volume, continuation sign, but we didn't stay above here. We didn't get any closes here. So this was not going to be our pushing if we don't get any strong closes here. If we go into weakness, this will be reread as selling. You can read a letter. I better type that in here. Selling. You can read a letter that spells A, and people would say, oh, it means ah. And then I put the letter P. And if I put the letter E at the end of it all, it makes the A that was ah sound like A, cap. But if I put an E at the end, it spells cape. If I put the letter APP or APE and I put the E at the end, the A makes the A sound, ape. This is with language. So when you read volume spread analysis, you have to read it in context. And all the volume spread analysis materials you'll ever find often wait to read stuff in context. You can read it as best you can for the moment, selling, buying. The way that we read it in sword method is primarily using the cuts. So if we identify something that indicates it might be a pushing or continuation, but the move falls into a weakness, then we can read that as selling. Or in the more immediate sense, here, somewhere after it happened. Especially if you're not building structures above those areas where you're trying to build. So this is the type of stuff that makes us reread what we're reading to see in context where we're at. So that's the tricky part with VSA. It is a language, and all languages have a type of grammatical rules that are going to have to be read in their context. Okay? As you'll see. And that's the confusing part of VSA. That's why I'm trying to be here to help read as much of this stuff as possible, because it takes practice to learn, and that's fine. Okay, let's look at the next coins, guys. Audio still in a downtrend, strong watch line. Okay. Maybe parabolic. maybe straight. Looks like straight right now, I would say. Wick side, wick match. Yep, that's going to be the more accurate angle. Current price breakout, if it's tomorrow, it's $10 or 10 cents. The phantom on the lower side is also going to have a wick match here. Okay, therefore your low for this number is 6 cents. If you're shorting this, be careful because the blocks stop making sense on the daily chart. You're going to have to understand there's a wide range, and it's scary because the candles don't make sense. Look at that.
Are you looking on Binance? Because it goes back to 2021. I think the volume is pretty high on Binance. It's also on Coinbase. It's also on the ANA registry.
Okay, this one goes back to May of 2021. Let me see if I can pull up a different one, but okay, Binance. Oh, it looks like I've done this one. Why was it not listed? Let me make sure I add it. Make sure I add that. Check. Yeah, it is. Oh, sorry guys. It's because when I first typed it in, I typed in audios. Okay, this is experiencing weakness territory. Okay, this is the structure that's being built underneath this line. Okay, a large round structure, bearish. Leave it alone, unless you're shorting. Okay, we can clear this up a little bit by pulling up a weekly chart. It's going to be a little bit more what we're looking at. Okay. So any of this territory is not, looks like I looked at this in February, massive targets would be good, pullback, but there's not one yet. Use the parabolic breaks there for no pullback. There are a lot of verifications on this chart. There should be issues at 50 cents for the top side targets. There are many behaviors above that are also bullish. Top side targets 5.22 up there, way high, but many behaviors are needed. They are shown on this map. So lots of things needed for this map to even become healthy. It's not in that territory. So if it's not on the map, it's not in your immediate circle. As I used the Zorro example from our tutorial a few days ago, it does not exist. Okay, the first healths were back here. Okay, but some of them were lost here. The next structures that we're building are messy, but already in this territory is a bearish territory. Now we can adjust some of this, but I want to take a look because of how messy this is at a higher time frame. See if we can get even more clear and see if I'm getting the exact line on a higher time frame. So let's see if I can find it. Let's start with this monthly. This is going to be these numbers back here, 13 cents. Clear up our map. Oops, not that one. Clear up our map a little bit. Okay, now we're going to see if we can find the oscillation for our target, like a DP projection. I have a flat here. No wick match, but the wicks do match about right there. Let's put this on the bottom to see. On the wick side, it's about right here. So one major target on the bottom side might be this. So we might see audio come down to 3 cents, possibly. Okay, let's look at what was happening in the volume here. Wow. You guys see the increase in volume? That tells us we should be challenging. And especially if we already have 3 big, large pullbacks, and the first one, 2, and after these 2, it indicates if we were increasing volume that it's not wise to absorb the supply here. It's much better to let the market fall. Too many people are willing to part with their crypto at lower price, and this is a prime example of that from the classes we do about volume on Wednesdays, or the tutorial we even did today earlier. Okay, so this is going to indicate a lower market. Combine that with some of the larger weaknesses. This is a high level time frame, so we may be looking for this to come quite low. Okay, if we want to label this, I would label this DP projection. This is probably about the areas you're looking to get to. Let's put a price here, 0.0354. Okay. Let's go to a smaller time frame. This one we got to be real careful of. We're going to label this one monthly because that was only showing up on the monthly, which means that the higher time frame charts are in play. Not accurate on the lower time frame, such as a weekly chart. Okay, so that means you're going to have to do more calculation. All right, let me find you some more stuff, and maybe you can short this. Here's one of the more recent. Let's give this a color green. Good. Okay, lower side about right here. Wick sides match, so we're going to use the wick side. So your current low is 0.69 cents. 0.69 cents, the current high. Here, I'm not really looking for this to come back in health anytime soon, but I want to see the pushing volume on this bar right here. If there's any January 27th, it's quite high for the down move. It's quite high. I think this is going to be your. Oh no, wait, no, that's not the high. It's the next bar underneath the shakeout area. This is still quite high, so this might be a sustaining type of volume here. This is where people jump ship. This is where people are reversing their positions. That one. This is probably, in my opinion, sustaining. This is volume to keep us down. It's where people say, okay, that's it, I'm out. Somebody had a word for that, capitulation? I would agree. Something like that. Be careful. This one, just right now. All right, that's about all I really want to talk about for this one. If you're anything short on this one, you got that going for you. Okay, that's going to be a more immediate. If you're going to take any trades here, be careful. Use the lower side. It's going to be something like that. Okay, any other questions for me? Okay, if I get underneath here, and I'll show you where, I'm going to be particularly bearish. Okay, any other questions? Q and audio, my friends? Okay, going once, going twice. We are not doing tutorials right now. I'm just letting you guys know some of my thoughts regarding these cryptos. Let's go to American coin. What is this? American coin. All right, and that's the logo. All right, but just confirm. We'll do it on. How about MEX? Okay, can you confirm this coin is currently at 0.00050 12 approximately?
Let me just check.
Okay, please. Looks like a fairly new coin. January of this year. Okay. You're going to have a strong level out here, which means this is your real breakout area that you need structure at. The lower side is going to move straight down. You got 1 point of verification. Your lower parabolic's going to be here. These are your prices. Okay, 0, 0, 0. Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 zeros, 18 cents. We're going to need a health above there before you take any big trades on this one. Okay. Looks something like that. So far. Okay, and then of this crypto, we can go all the way down to probably a 6-hour chart. The chart's still making sense on the smaller time frames. You're in a downtrend. You only can hump the up move. Be careful hunting the up move. A trade was just recently, approximately about here. That was a trade that may have been on the board. Another one that's more consistent with this is going to be a type of flat. That was that one. And then get out at healths, cut your loss, and then look for us to bounce off of those roofs into weakness. That's going to be the type of trades you're primarily concerned about. Bouncing off those roofs into weaknesses. At least that's my style. I like to be at a type of resistance and then move into the health or the weakness if I'm shorting. Let's look at volume real quick. See any big red flags. We got a super on the upside. We have a very high up bar, which is right here, and it's not much follow through, but we did move to the side, so that might be, this is actually on the low side, so there might be some buying that's actually taking place, starting to take place here in this, so that might be a type of buying campaign starting, so we might want to be paying attention to this one.
I think that was off the back of the Trump coin being launched.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So this is part of that whole situation there?
I believe so.
Good.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's something, there's some big money coming into this one. These high volume bars somewhere right here in the middle indicated at the time that we should be going lower. I'll show you what I mean real quick. So this is actually not the type of volume we want to see at this moment. You can see that increase in volume tells us we're supposed to be challenging down to the lower side. We got lower. Okay, now we're going to look at what's happening in the more recent. Even if there's buying, the buying is not being absorbed. Okay, so the buying is not being absorbed, which means we're supposed to be playing lower. So there's more incentive for them to bring it lower. You understand? There's more incentive every time you see this type of area where it should be at a buying or support. If there's not a market, that means more and more people are willing to dump it rather than actually obtain it. So maybe they're buying it, but they're very like fair weather fans. You can view this as them saying, that's it, I'm done. And so even if there's buying that does happen, it's not enough to overcome the new supply being dumped on the market. So the sentiment is not being changed, at least in the macro sense. Okay, if we saw a steady increase on the down move into health, that's a good thing. That might indicate that there's trying to be in either an accumulation campaign or some kind of buying. But in this case, it's not powerful enough, even if it is buying. So there is money coming into it, but it's not powerful enough to bring it up at this moment. So that was then. Let's look at this a little bit now. Okay, so we're going to need to watch it at these areas. So if you want, set an alert. I would probably set an alert at here, somewhere down near where I gave you the flat at this price, the 5097. Sorry, 6097. I would set an alert. For me, I'm going to set an alert. Look for volume to dry up. Okay, so this has the makings of some buying coming in, but again, it's not enough to overcome. So I'm not like super bearish this crypto, but at the moment the volume is telling us we should be playing lower. Combine that with the market USDT.D still having room to play in the bearish territory, and you have the perfect scenario to at least come down a little bit further. Look to lose money if you're in a position. Look to possibly get an entry. We want to see the volume low. This is a 6-hour chart, so it's probably going to play out this week. Okay. Any other questions?
No, nothing else on that. Thank you.
Okay. All right, we're going to watch that area with great intrigue. This 6-hour chart, you guys can watch it too if you want to. All right, let's move on to the next one. XRP. Okay, as you guys know, I'm in an XRP position. I'm not super bearish XRP, but XRP also is struggling at the moment. But it's not in a heavy weakness last I checked. Let's take a look. Okay. All right, super not so bearish at the moment. The volume here at the low. I'll just hide my lines real quick just to show you. These areas comparatively tell us we should be here. So we're not super worried about that. On the other chart, you can see that we've had this as our support for months. Even while we were still way back here, even before we popped up on that, we knew where that support was months ago, and months before we even had the health. So go back on my old videos, you guys will see them, and I'll show it to you in just a moment where that area is at. But for right now, the volume is not actually that one. That's actually apparent. The volume is actually this one right here, and I'll show it to you. Okay, it's actually there. Okay, this volume is this one. Okay, so the volume therefore is greatly drying up, and that's a good news for XRP. That's a very good news for XRP to move into health. That means that people are not so willing to part with it here. When you see a crypto that is having that type of situation, it's telling you it's not the end of the world. It's not a strong incentive for them to bring it down. Now, if that changes, you'll be the first to know it because you'll know what to look for. But at the moment, it's not telling us it's the end of the world. It's just telling us it should be just a little bit lower, slightly lower. Okay, so that's what that type of means. That's a good scenario. That means that if there's buying here, okay, that price is being absorbed. Okay, so therefore you'll start looking for health or reasons to get in, if possible, if you have them. Now, we still need to be in a health. Okay, so we want to watch our foundational area, which is this one. That's going to be the biggest clue. And that area is not this top, but actually this one, or close to it. So therefore, this is our actual health. The foundation is the big clue. Foundational area. Okay, so that's going to tell us where we're looking. Now, we're not there yet, so we're still looking to keep playing in that VZB, which is the lower area anyway, but it's looking good. So this is becoming bullish, and this is a good sign. There's still some heavy selling off the up bars for the selling goes, but as far as having a strong incentive to bring it lower, that is not the case at the moment. Okay, it's not the case to have a strong move lower at the moment. Okay, if you want to take a screenshot of that for your notes, I will answer questions after I show my next chart on XRP. Okay, so take a screenshot, and then let's go to my next chart for XRP. Okay, this is on my Binance, and in my Bitstamp I drew this one, our largest supports. Let's show them now. So these are the supports we've had for months, even while we were still first, before we were in health. We calculated those supports all along this way. So this is where we're still playing in these two areas. 191 to $2.05, and then the upper one is 235 and 297. This is why I said I moved a lot of my position to XRP, because if I'm going to have a crypto that's going to pop off, it's probably going to be XRP based on its position. That's why over a month or so ago, when I told you guys I got out of 75% of everything and moved to XRP, is because XRP is not in weakness. Other cryptos may have a chance, but they're in weakness, so they're less likely. XRP is still sitting on its support, so it's more likely. Even though it's not super bullish at the moment, it's more likely if it's at those supports, I'm at least getting a good price. Some of the other cryptos, you have to wait for them to fall more. You understand the difference? And the volume hasn't been telling me that we're going lower. The volume has been telling me we're drying up. Okay? We're drying up. That's what it's telling me. We're going in the right direction. Not a super strong incentive for weaknesses. Okay? Not a super strong incentive for bullishness, but at least we're sitting at a good price. So if something good happens, at least we can take advantage of some of that. Now, some of the stuff that's happening in the more meantime is a weakness is appearing underneath this area. Okay, right about underneath this line. The DP projection, which we've already calculated, is this area down here. We did that last time. So if we do go low, I like the fact that there's this number that was at 170 now goes up each day. In this case, it's 174, and then it's going to culminate on April 3rd as a vortex. So if we can hold on to April 3rd, even if we fall on April 3rd, that's going to be a good thing to help us bounce out of this mess, if we can get out of this mess. Okay, I need to adjust this watch line on here, by the way, to account for the wick side, because the wicks match, and it's going to be more in alignment with this area here. So let's raise that up a little bit. Okay, in addition, we're still sitting on the wick match of this area watch line. It's the same angle, and we're still bouncing along that line. So price is really struggling, but it's not the end of the world. Really struggling, but not the end of the world. Do we have any other questions for our look at XRP at the moment? Okay. Anyone questions XRP at the moment? Okay. Not something I want to short at the moment. Health still needs to come in.
See 170.
170 could happen this week underneath here. That's our DP projection. It could still act like a support, and it's 174. I don't see 170, okay, in my opinion, but in all fairness, when you have small spikes on the top sides, you can re-add those on the bottom side. So give that your birth of distance. So if I'm here at a support, we can still cover this distance, and look where the number's at, 165. So it's possible you can still spike here and be comfortably still in the support area. So if you're going to be looking for low prices, maybe that's. Triple J, are you hearing prophetically 170? What's your thoughts?
Yeah, actually, we were chatting about that yesterday.
Okay.
Marco, Christian, 17 number. It's just everywhere.
Okay. All right.
And 17 cents, $17, 170, $1.70, 170. It's like that 17.
Okay.
God is really pinpointing that out.
Let me write this down. Triple J, March 10th, 2025. Look for the 17 number. 17, 170, things like this. XRP rotation.
Can I say one more thing?
See it?
Yes. Is Marco here?
I'm here.
Oh, perfect. Thank you. Remember our conversation yesterday that the Lord said about the channels? Can you tell that to Jason? Because you understood what I was saying. I didn't, but you do.
Yeah, basically what she was saying was that she thinks that at some point, I'm noticing, maybe you've noticed it too, the price structures and channeling is starting to become a little different. The movements, it's like we're coming into, as if cryptos are trading like stocks now.
Oh, really?
It's being more manipulated that way into a different type of channel. She was having channel was the word.
Yeah, yesterday I had heard change prior, and then while we were chatting, I told Marco, I hear the Lord speaking to me and saying the word channel. Obviously, I knew when Abba's speaking to me, he's going to understand what I'm saying. I don't. But you guys know the TAs, yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
I do have a question, if you don't mind. Maybe it's not the time to cover it, maybe after class, but I'm getting some questions about XRP 3Ls, 3 longs.
Yeah.
I'm not exactly sure how it works, and maybe if you have some input, you can mention that.
That's a great question for this. The 3Ls, 3 longs are a type of way, it's almost a type of leverage trading. It is a type of leverage trading where if your exchange doesn't have like futures where you can buy a coin that's a 3S or a 3L. So a 3S is basically betting that coin will go down. And this is primarily for people who are not actively using the futures type of option to short. This is another way you can bet price going down. So if you do a 3S, XRP 3S, you're betting that it's going to go down at basically 3 times the leverage. I'm not sure, because I've never gotten stopped out when it comes to the 3S coins or the 3L coins. I've never got stopped out. So I'm not really sure how it would pull from your own leverage, but I think there's some type of built-in mechanism where you can't go too far into negative because it'll actually cause you to lose money. That's generally how shorting is supposed to work and leveraged is supposed to work. It may be built in the coin and there's some things I don't understand there, but for those of you who are not using them and you're looking for coins that you can short, some of the coins end in 3S or 3L. If you want to make more money by taking your normal position, you can leverage your coins, but if you're not used to leverage, please be careful. It requires discipline. With the futures options in your crypto wallet, you have the option to limit your exposure. So say, for example, I have a wallet that has $10,000 and I take a short on a trade, but then the trade goes up. How it works is they're actually my account will lose money and it can take everything. So the way that until you don't have any more money left, and then it will manually margin you out and close you, just like it does in Forex. So anyone who's in Forex, you know what that's like. But futures is a way to take advantage of the same type of 3S and 3L position using leverage if you want to, or at least at the very least shorting. Now, I don't really use leverage much. From time to time, I use it. But for the most part, I just take a normal 1-to-1 ratio, even if it's long and arduous. What you can do with futures is you can allot a certain amount of money. It's like coming to the casino and exchanging a certain amount of chips. If you're playing at the casino and you lose money, it would be scary if the casino could come in and take your wallet too and say, hey, now pay up what's in your bank account. You can say to the casino, hey, I only cashed out in $100 worth of chips, which means your maximum drawdown or loss would be $100. 3S coins are plain coins that are generally in your normal wallet, but futures coins are probably better. It's probably the more appropriate question you guys should be looking into, because you can move money into the futures part of your portfolio, which is an isolated margin. Okay, so if I only say I'm only going to bring $400 in, your maximum drawdown, the most you can lose that your trade can go against you, is up to the $400. After that, it'll close your account for the margin, or you'll just lose. But you won't lose what else is in your account. So those are the two ways you can short and buy, because you have to, if you're trying to make money going down, you have to have a way to short either the 3S, but not every coin is 3S, or futures, which is more options. And we can talk about that another day if you guys want to know more about that. I'll show you maybe a practical example by using a wallet or something like that, and we'll do an example of shorting. Okay, if you guys want, let me know in the chat. Camino, your final thoughts regarding these things.
Yeah, part of the questions that I was getting answered is if you take a look at the XRP chart, but you take a look at the XRP 3L, you'll see where 3L had hit like $100 at one point. Mm-hmm. So what's the relation
the price
between B going up and 3L hitting $100?
Are you, when somebody's saying they're hitting $100, are you talking about the price point that's listed for the 3L position? Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they have their own type of chart, but they move in relationship with the actual chart of XRP. I don't know how to actively put in those targets and take profit positions. So when I'm doing 3L and 3Ss, I've done them many times, but I still don't know how to actively put that in on a chart with a number. So the way I do it, and I offset it, is this. I'll actually have to manually watch for prices to hit my targets on my exchange. Okay, so for what this means is if I'm in a short position, just say I was shorting, this is a 2-hour chart. Just say I was like, okay, I'm going to take a risk and we're going to maybe enter a trade going to the downside. And I have reason to believe we're going to be hitting our lower support. I can set an alert on my normal chart on TradingView by setting an alert the same way. Alarm. So I click on maybe my trend line and I click on the alarm clock button. Now I can type in something like get out of short position. Okay. And when it hits, I'll get a reminder, or even close. Sometimes I'll raise up that support and I'll get close and I'll be like, okay, now I need to pay attention to it. So when I get the notification on my phone, I know to go into my exchange and manually close my position, because I may not know where the take profit is in relationship to that. Some of you guys may be good. I don't know how to do that. I always do it manually. That's the way you can do it without having to try to map out the 3S coin, especially if you've already done your homework, mapping it out on your standard XRP chart. Okay, so if you map out your homework and you're like, I don't see all my trend lines on my new 3S chart, that's fine. Use your XRP chart. Some of you guys do that with that other coin. I think it was like Base or Pepe or something. That's something coins that are measured in wrapped ether. Do your homework on your TradingView chart, and then you go back to your wrapped ether and you're like, I don't know how to convert it. I don't know either. Okay, some of you guys may want to learn how to chart all that wrapped ether stuff. It's better just to use your standard map, set your alerts, take profits, then manually do your stuff. That's one way you can go about it. Okay, Ian.
Because of the decay over time, so say XRP long was once $100, it's difficult for it to get back there, because even say if that was when XRP was at $3, XRP long was at $100. If XRP went back to $3 now, the long would probably still only be at say like $70 because of the decay.
Okay.
You would just have to expect it not to go as high. But say if XRP goes to $5, yeah, probably get back to $100 potentially. yeah, you just have to bear that in mind, the decay. So let's say you hold on to the long position for a month and XRP goes sideways, it doesn't change in price at all. I don't know what the decay rate is, but I would probably say you would lose maybe 20% of your money over a period of a month being exposed to the interest. So it's generally something you have to be careful of going into months. Yeah, generally best to hold it for a couple of weeks maybe, but it's not devastating holding it for a month or two, but yeah, providing it doesn't stagnate for 2 or 3 months, and then you probably lose a lot of your growth.
Yep. And one more thing about leverage trading or 3S positions. This is a complaint that I've heard quite a bit over the years. The ratios are not exact. It's in that realm of category what Ian's talking about decay. This is in that same kind of category, that the numbers aren't, they're supposed to be 1 for 1 for whatever. If XRP goes up, then the 3L is supposed to go up, and if XRP goes down, the 3S, then the 3S is supposed to go down if XRP is going down. People have complained over the years online, not to me, but online, that sometimes they're not getting filled on their orders, or they're not seeing the immediate results. I think this is a type of manipulation that is yet to be fully exposed. I think this is more on the side of maybe the exchanges who are hosting the 3S type of positions. I can't really comment much more than that, but I suspect it's a bit nefarious. So please be careful if you're taking these positions and you're trying to be exact and your numbers are not getting hit. Sometimes it's better just to, if you know that you've hit it on your actual chart, even if your long or short hasn't hit it, just know that they may be delaying that. And in that delay, they're actually not displaying the correct prices. This is why the liquidity situation is going to end a lot of manipulation, because they're going to, with that extra liquidity, they can actually not represent the correct exact price at the moment. So there's room for manipulation. But as Lisa has demonstrated in her report that I read to you earlier in the month about AI and the future and what's going to change, because they're going to regulate, they're going to show a more accurate liquidity. So when you see the price, that's the price. Right now, the numbers are being fudged a little bit. And in that, there's a lot of room for manipulation. And manipulation in the fact that the person who has the real price can do something to offset that. And this is why we have a lot of algorithms that are looking at the buying and selling coming in first. It's like they get to see what the winning horse is. And then they can offset that. They can do something before it affects you. They can even sell into your buying or buy into your selling just to stabilize the prices. And this is happening. And you guys are going to see more about it in the future. It's a type of the manipulation we don't want. Not the type we see in volume, but the type that is very nefarious. That's the evil kind. So I hope you guys got to know that. People have reported that, and that's my suspicion. My suspicion is that type of manipulation for the S coins falls into those categories. This is why, personally, I prefer the manual method anyway, because if my chart hit my target, I don't care what my S coin, if it hasn't hit my target, I'm going to close my position. If I'm at the resistance and I know that I'm moving into weakness, I'm going to close my long position on the 3L. I don't care if I haven't hit the number or it's not hit, because I'm not guaranteed it's going to hit that. Sometimes it doesn't, but I can't tell you, I don't trade them too often, but every time I do, I've manually taken my profits or loss. That's how I've managed it. I was like, ooh, I'm not there. Oh, I'm not going to worry about it. I'm not going to try to make them both match, because I give room that they could not match, just as we've heard. Okay? So, hope that answers your question. Thank you, Ian, as well, for commenting. Let's finish up today with Morph. This is a crypto that's oscillating right now. It's a crypto that fell from grace. We were trading at $153. Currently, it's trading at $9. And even that, the oscillation has a strong flat. Okay? Hit multiple times. Now, we got to be a little bit careful because we got some grace on this side. So we can add some grace on this side. It's not the end of the world, but it's not looking good at the moment, right? Okay, we bring our oscillation to the lower, our key angle to the lower side. It's also still a flat. We hit there twice. Okay, if I see in the volume an increase from point A to point B, then I'm going to be looking for certainly to come lower. Especially if it's a very high increase, I'm going to look for lower prices almost with a certainty. If it's somewhat high, I might be just looking to come in here for a temporary time. In either case, we're not okay to take any bullish trades at the moment because the watch line that's being established seems to be pretty strong, and it's about right here. So this is where your health will come in. We're not there. Okay? You're not there. So you don't have permission to take this trade or a buy on this trade based on at least the sword method's art, because the map is telling you're not in the right space, okay, for this to happen. Let's take a look at the volume. This is the macro view of the volume. Let me, yeah, that'll be good enough. Okay. In the macro view of the volume, this is the volume basically, and this is your second area. The volume, therefore, is equal. Okay, it's equal. Now, when this is the case, that means we should be playing here. There's one other factor that's happening here. Oh, and that's not good. There's one other factor. When we came back here for the third time to our VCB, the volume zone block, we also can check the volume. And that volume is telling us important information. Okay. So as we came back here for a third time, we now are at point C. Here's B. Here's point C. Here's point A. Now that we're here, we can look at the volume again, and the volume's still, unfortunately, pretty high. So even if it's buying coming in on a down move into health, even if it's buying, which it's only consistent, it's not really saying it's buying. There may have been some buying here, but even if it's buying, there's too much supply. So it's telling us, oh, this one red. It's telling us the market is not ready to move up. Because even if you're buying, you have to, there's too many sellers willing to dump it here. And so it gets very expensive for you to try to bring it into health. Very expensive. It's much cheaper just to let the market fall, even if you were buying. But the fact that there's so much volume here is telling us we're probably going to see lower prices. So it doesn't take a rocket scientist to understand I could probably get this cheaper. Okay? If you're going to buy it, you probably can get it cheaper. In addition, I don't have permission to buy it. Okay? So I'm looking for this to actively move somewhere lower because their supply has not been absorbed. The supply has not been absorbed. Now, combine this with one other factor here, and I'm going to show you one more factor here. If I combine this with this area up here, a large up bar that's closing near the low, and the move is into weakness. Here's the weakness. Somewhere in here. That up bar was on ultra high volume. If it was buying, or these moves right here, from here to here. If these were buying, then why didn't we have anything to continue to show for it? Why did we move into weakness? And down, and even into further weakness. This was selling. You can mark it with an arrow if you wanted to. This is the scary part. Okay? So we can understand that in addition to the lack of incentive to bring it higher at the moment, we also have selling at the top. So I got to be really careful in thinking that this is going to do me well at the moment. It may do well, but at the moment it's telling us that the bears are winning. Okay? The bears are winning. So if we combine all of that with structure, what the heck are we doing here? Now, I have a feeling if I go to a 4-hour or a 6-hour chart, the chart's going to stop making sense. I bet I'm right. I'm going to show you. Yep. Look at that. Low market cap. You spend enough time with the candles, you'll start seeing it. Look at all the candles that don't make sense. Look at all these little half flat dojis. The spreads are really small. So I want to be careful using small time frames to try to read this, which means it may be hard to short it on a 6-hour. Even a 12-hour is getting there. So I'm just going to stick with a daily. Okay. At the moment, this is going to be a wide spread, but I would say if we had maybe a more accurate pullback, and I stop there and that watch line is broken, I'm probably gonna be looking to take the short on this crypto. But until then, look to see if you're going to buy it anyway. You're probably going to buy it at low price, and then we can use the DP projection as a target. So let's target that and see what kind of price we might be able to get away with for Morph, which is Morpheus. I might be able to get away with this price here, $4.84. Okay, all right, $4.84 area, something like that. Do we have any other questions, comments, my take, or my thoughts, opinions regarding this? Now, again, I could be right, I could be wrong. This is just the game as I see it, based on our art and the method. Okay? Any other questions for me regarding this crypto going once? Going twice?
So that'd be the best entry for that?
Probably. At least not anytime soon. Okay. Right now the entry's up there at $13. Above that watch line. But look for a pullback possibly. And if the mark, and this may go lower. If it wanted to build a buy, it needed to do it successfully, and it didn't. It failed the absorption. They're gonna let it fall. We need to find the support. You may get, since the flat is so strong, I'm gonna be concerned with the flat. Yeah, you're probably gonna be able to get $4 for this. Okay. All right.
I was gonna say 379.
Really?
Yeah.
Is it what you're hearing?
Just do that 379 on that.
Is that what you're hearing prophetic, or what your analysis is?
I hear 379. I'm asking you because I don't hear $3.79. I hear 379.
Oh, 379.
So yeah, I'd be up or down. But I believe it's down. So I'm wondering if you're seeing it.
Okay.
I mean, it could be one of those crazy wicks. For all I know.
Yeah, the low number right here, 379, is somewhere about right there, Triple J. And as I said before, with the grace that we allot a crypto on these oscillations, and Ian brought this to my attention a long time ago, is basically the allotment on the side for the wick side. If we bring it down to the low side, just see on average here's 364. Price could actually find support here and still hit 379 quite nicely, and that might be, yeah, it could. So we pay attention to those allotments of grace, and that's how we can measure it. You could take the essence of what's happening on your move and then just see what foolishness was going on, and then tack on the foolishness to the bottom side. Even if your analysis is right, you got to give it that grace. Okay. And those clues, the foolishness that's already happened is the grace. Even right now, this could be that area. I don't think it is, because the volume is telling us we're supposed to be going lower. So I would be tacking it on probably to this side rather than just this. That represents this extra bit of traders who were buying at the top and lost money. They're going to be a little bit extra out of the bounds. Okay. Anyone else? Anything else, Triple J? You're welcome. All right, Morpho going once. Morpho going twice. All right, at this moment, I'll open up for last questions. I won't do any more cryptos. Today, the biggest weaknesses I'm probably going to be looking is, I think it was QNT. If I can find an entry on QNT. That's going to be one I'm going to be looking at, probably for a short. I don't have any other short right now. And as I mentioned before, I'm in a short on XDC, but only to 67 cents. I'm looking to buy this closer to 60 cents, but the short range is 67. I don't want to push my luck too much with the short on XDC. So I'm only shorting to 67 cents, and then I'm out of that short, and then I'm just going to be looking possibly for another entry on XDC if we can get it. Okay, so I'll keep you guys updated on Wednesday if I reverse my position or if we hit it. But all of this allotment is telling us we should be playing lower. All right, anyone else? Questions, comments before I let you guys go for today?
Yeah, I got one, Jason.
Yeah.
Hey, thanks again, man, for all you do. Really appreciate it.
I appreciate you. Thank you for your support. Thank you for.
Yeah, thank you for sitting here and watching and learning. Yeah, we got the hard job, man. You're right. Your job's easy. No, my question is, when looking at the USDT tutorial,
yeah,
I know that every crypto is specific, right? And yet at the same time, as I'm watching and learning, it seems like so many of them move in almost the exact. It's crazy, the shapes of the charts.
Yes.
With what you're seeing, I'm thinking it might be a good time. Obviously, again, every crypto is different, but it might be a good time to sell some and buy back in if that trend continues up for a bit, or are you hesitant yourself to look at anything like that?
My personal bias is that I was really hoping that we would stay in that lower area and underneath the black line about 3 or 4 weeks ago. But when we looked at the volume, as I told everybody, I said, it looks like we're going to break above. In retrospect, I should have been looking to probably find some stuff that I was going to short, because I could have made some more money. Rather than just get out of position, I could have made money because I was more bearish. But the reason I say that is because I believe we're starting to go in the right direction. This is a little bearish month, but it's not super bearish anymore, as we're starting to see. Things are going to slow down on the bearish side. So I'm not looking for certain things to like really go out of boundaries right now based on USDT. So I got to be careful about shorting too long at the end. It's like buying at the top of the market. You can also short at the bottom of the market. I got to be real careful with that. But there's room to play. I'm not going to be looking to be super bearish, but to continue a little bit, I would say, yeah, you can continue. It's still safe to play. It's not the end-all, be-all. It's USDT.D is the one that tells us when we can enter. But it does help give us a good pulse about, it's like Mother May I. Mother May I take a short. As long as I'm still in these territories and the chart looks such weak, I'll say yes. If this starts becoming bullish, like we get to the lower areas, then I got to be careful taking shorts and maybe stop shorting at the moment. It may not mean I'm ready to take a buy, but it means I do need to get out of a short. And that's something important for everybody to remember. Just because the answer is not buy doesn't mean you can short it. And just because the answer is not short doesn't mean you can buy it. There's a lot of gray area that you just need to stay away from the markets, and that will keep you out of trouble. Not every buy means a short, and not every short means a buy when you reverse your position. There's an option on your trading wallets, especially if you're doing future shorting like me, where you can click the button and it will say, do you want to reverse the position? No. Just because I'm getting out of XDC for my short, making the money on the way down, doesn't mean it's ready to move up. It can continue moving into weakness. It could just drift to the side, waste my time, delay territory, lots of things. But I don't want to ever click that button, just say, yes, buy right, unless I'm really certain that's a buy. Some of you guys may want to be like that. I don't like to risk unless I have a strong reason to get in a trade. Those are going to be some of my complex thoughts to that question, Alex.
Okay, yeah, and thank you for that. Last sort of question there. As I'm watching that bottom watch line on the chart that's up right now, that's a 1 day, right? So if we were to continue this trend and let's say bounce off the 6, all hypothetical, I'm not saying you're predicting that, but if you did, if the chart did, what day is that about? Is that kind of near the end of the month? Is that in a week?
So if I continue just this smaller vortex out to where we meet together close to the end of March. This is March 28th, approximately.
Okay.
So that's the saying if prices really does that. That's why I said to me about mid-March is what I said about where we probably going to maximize our bearishness out.
Yeah.
And if further bearishness comes in the board, we'll see it. It's going to be above that green line, the 5.5. If we start building above there, then I'm going to be more concerned for market dumps. I'm going to be more concerned. But at the moment, I'm still hopeful.
Okay. Awesome. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So any other questions regarding these things? It's not so much a no demand, but we're starting to go in the right direction. I'm going to be looking soon for a reversal closer to the end of this month based on the volume. Okay, if this continues to hold up and there continues to be no lower and lower volume as we challenge the up bars, you're going to see the markets turn around. So be careful shorting too long. Okay, the game is, should I move? I don't advocate for this show or movie, but you guys seen the movie Squid Games? Okay, it's very violent, it's gory, I don't recommend it. But in the movie, there's a robot that represents a little girl, and there's a field that the players have to cross. It's a giant game, and they have to cross from one side to the other. The game is red light, green light. It's a lot like Mother May I. When Mother May I says you can go, in this game, red light, green light, when the girl says red, green light, she turns away and looks away and you can move. But when she turns and looks at you and she says red light, you have to stop. In the Squid Game show, it's a game of life and death. People die if they move when it's not time to move. And the reason I say that is to emphasize the seriousness of knowing the territory that you're in and the dangers that might present themselves in. When you guys are taking trades in times when it's not okay to short, you can get yourself in big trouble. And if you're taking buys in times when heavy weaknesses and shorting is on the board, you may see heavy losses. And we get really hurt in that way. So it's important to get a pulse and a read on what season you might be in, so that you can either minimize some of your losses, step back from shorting, step back, especially you who are leverage trading. This is why it's super dangerous to leverage trade. If you're in leverage buys right now, in a season when things are really bearish, or the likelihood is you're going to be more bearish than anything, you're going to really suffer a big loss. If you're in shorts, at least you have a chance to do something good while it's down. So recognizing the seasons that you're in, even down to a 6-hour chart if you want to, can at least stack some of the odds in your favor, protect you from getting shot, right? Knowing when to stop. She's turning her head. Get ready to stop. You can push it to the last second, but that's your greed talking. And that's often the case with lots of people. So we can understand how much money's on the table, like for SHIBA coming down only a little bit, but still being weak. These are the ways we can read the game. Anyone else, my friends? Sorry to give you that example, but it's a brutal example that happens actually in real life. Any more revelations on DINAR? Any more revelations on DINAR? Do you see a season when it may happen, the revaluation, says Mark. Mark, I was asked this question I was in a private call with Crypto Night on Thursday last week. They were talking about Balkan Dwarf. And I was on a call with him and Michael Lawrence. And they had called me up and they had said, Song, you're not going to believe this. We had a dream. Michael Lawrence had a dream. He said, I don't know who it was. He didn't recognize me or remember me, but he was at the conference. I think he came at the last day or something like that. Some of you have seen Michael Lawrence on YouTube. If you've seen him, put it in the chat. I'm unfamiliar with him. And I think I seen one of his videos once. I think it did. I think he's the country guy, because that's him. He's a Bitcoin maxi. He's a maxi. And I always preach against maxis, but we can get along, right? Maxis are the Bitcoin t-shirt wearers. They got their shirt on and they say, yeah, Bitcoin all the way, or whatever crypto. They're the kind of people that go all in. He's unapologetically a maxi. He told me over the phone. So I'm not speaking bad about him. This is who he is. I understand the scripture says invest in 7 ventures, but I believe there's a sequence and we can know the sequence. I err on the side of scripture. If the scripture says we know in part, then I take it that I know only in part. If the scripture says I prophesy in part, then when it comes to the prophetic, I believe that we prophesy in part. And I take it when the scripture says invest in 7 ventures, for you do not know what will befall the land. I take it literally that I don't know. Okay? Maxis get in trouble a lot. Some of you were maxis. A lot of you guys were maxis. Because that's all you know. You just know the gurus that are online that talk about Bitcoin or whatever crypto it is for that season. The prophetic community, by and far, are maxis. Okay? Because they don't have TA or something like that, or they may not know. So they have to be maxis in some ways. The Lord told me SHIBA, so I'm going to go all in SHIBA. And you watch it go up and down and watch it go up and down, and you're waiting longer term. But you'll go all in. Prophet Robin said, I don't know about timing. If you want timing, go to Song. He also said, and him and his wife said, that I'm a prophet, but I don't know it. That's what he said, Jesus said. Sometimes we prophetic using our gifts that we have. Every person has different gifts, but I'm just going to say this at least. I'm not trying to toot my own horn, but I would say I'm going to listen to the prophetic, but we combine it with the data. And so I taught Michael Lawrence this on the phone. I said, listen, it's good to learn TA because the prophecies are part. I said, we have some great prophetic intel coming from Ian, from Triple J, the dreams you guys have in our community, some of the prophetic numbers you guys get. We have a great prophetic, but you also combine it with wisdom. That's prudence. The prudence side falls on the TA to consider the field and buy it. You may want to. You may feel the leading of the Lord, but even then, you understand the timing and the seasons. Seed time and harvest. I'm excited to plant my field. I can plant it in the wrong season and watch the seeds rot. I can plant them in the wrong season and watch my seeds dry up. Wisdom would say we need to combine our desires, the prophetic, and the wisdom together. You understand? The prudence. And this is where I believe that we see things in the TA can help. Now, Michael Lawrence said this about DINAR. If God said DINAR, I'm going to go all in DINAR. I don't care if it's a lot of money. And he shouted a large amount of... He shouted a number that I was like, whoa, that's a lot. But I was happy to hear him. I said, I can't say the same about DINAR. But I will say, tell me your dream. And he told me the dream that he had. The dream was, he saw me on The Price is Right. And when The Price is Right, people were shouting. They went up and they said, now tell us, what is your price? And what is the price? And you know how everybody's excited? 1050, 1050, Bob. When it came time for me to say the price, do you know what I said? I'll tell you what I said. I couldn't believe that. Kryptonite, I'm telling you, Kryptonite, Michael Lawrence on the phone with me. They're recounting this dream that they had this week. He told Kryptonite the dream. He says, who is this? Who is this person? He said, that's Jay Song. You need to call him up. They got me on three-way. I was at the grocery store, and then I walked to an open field, and we chatted for an hour and a half or so. The price that I said was Iraqi dinar. I didn't say a price. I said Iraqi dinar is what I said. Can you believe it? And the people, they begin to boo. They begin to boo. And then I won, and I received $50,000. There was a few other details about the dream. Maybe we'll get them on the channel. If we can, we'll see. But I'm sure Crypto Knights discussed this with his community. He said a few other things. He said that a few people in his community had dreams, especially Jacoby, and they took the price to revalue at around 50 to 55 cents based on the math they got. They said this matches the lower number that Brandon Biggs, I think Brandon Biggs, his name, he said that when the rate comes out, it's not going to be what you guys think. But you need to thank the Lord, be thankful, and take that number. Don't push it. It's less than what people want, and people are going to miss out and get stuck and get locked out of it because of it. There's a window of time, but they're not going to be happy with the rate, and they're not going to take the rate. Are you hearing what I'm saying? I'm giving you guys something that I'm so glad you guys asked this question. Okay. Now listen carefully. I don't know if we are going to hit the 55 cents or greater. I don't know. But it's very curious that in a relationship to the dream, he says, I watched your Crypto Night, watched your video today, and he told me I should watch you. And I said, I watched your video, Michael Lawrence says, after he told me, because I told him the dream I had about you or this person, and he said, that's you. When I watched the video, he said, you look a lot like that person in the video with your beard and everything, like in my dream. He said, you look a lot like. He says, I don't know who this person is. I don't really know who they are. Who is this person? And that's what Kryptonite said that. Triple J, I'll take your question in just a moment. The $50,000 represents a very big, large gain. And it may also, represent some of that number on the dinar revaluation. I'm not sure. But he says, so why the price is right? I says, my community is such that I've been given price. When people ask me about prices or about a crypto or whatever, I give them price. And I refer to price as price. So I'll say price should move up, price should move down. I don't even say the current crypto. often. I'll just say, it looks like price is going to move here, price is that. My gifting is that I've been given price. The day that Prophet Robin did a video on publicly, and he said the Lord says Jay Song is a genius, and to tell him that very night I was at the hotel. You guys called me up while I was at a hotel. I was taking a rest at the hotel, receiving some downloads, and in a dream that night I received a gold package with a clear background, and it was like $100 bill that was signed, some words written on it, and you could see like front and back, both sides, because it was sealed in this plastic. And the bill said this bill was first given to Bull Pony. I was like, who's Bull Pony? I'm trying to remember Bull Pony. I look him up online, and on Bull Pony I found that he's a man of time and price. So the Lord's given me a ministry that includes price. In addition to the ministry I've been doing years ago, I want to say about maybe 3 years ago now, the Lord sat me up in bed and said, he just sat me up, I sat up right in bed, and the Lord says, cryptocurrency has now been added to your ministry. Price has been an integral part to ChartRoom and WordRoom. They almost interchangeably. One moment we're talking about crypto, and the next moment we're talking about Jesus. I told him some of these things, and he was like, whoa, it's right to see you on The Price is Right. I said, maybe because I'm talking about the right prices. Maybe the price is right has to do with the 50 number or the 50,000 number. Maybe the giftings or the gift that's been given, and the people didn't want it, and maybe they boo, but it's still maybe the right price. Maybe that's a message for them, and maybe it's a message for you. But that's what I wanted to say. Triple J.
Yeah, I just want to add a little bit to what you said. The Lord has spoken a bit since last year about the dinar, at least to me. And I've spoken about it, and I've been very vocal about it because Abba told me to. And he told me to go all in. And I've been obedient, praise the Lord. But the dinar, he told me, the dinar will be more of the wealth transfer than what people think. It's not all crypto. Dinar will be a big part. And I pray, and believe me, I pray every single night for everybody here. I'm going to say we, because it's not just me. I'm praying that Abba will give us wisdom, understanding, and discernment, and that he will open the eyes of our hearts, that we may receive the discernment that we need, and to hear his voice. Because there are voices out there that we need to discern well, and they're not in the right. We have to be very careful who we listen to, because the enemy will try to wiggle in and remove us from our position. And I praise Allah every single day in the sense that I know, and I say it with the most humble heart and with fear, because I tremble that I may say the wrong thing that is not from him. Because I could care less what anybody thinks, but I care what he says and what he thinks of me. Because I come at his feet. And because he uses me as a voice, I know I have to be extremely careful of what I say and comes out of my mouth. But please, and I've said this many times, and I sound like a broken record, but if he leads me to say it, I will say it. Watch who you listen to. Because the enemy is here to come to steal and to rob us of the promises of Allah. And this wealth transfer is so important for things to come. We are not from this world, but we live in this world. And money is a tool that the enemy uses. And Allah is giving us that tool for us to use. Dinar, if you can, pray about it, obviously. I'm not going to tell you what to do. I can only tell you what he has spoken and what he tells me to speak. He told me to buy more. He told me to get ready. He told me that it will be more than what people think, a lot more in the wealth transfer. I believe that when Abba gives me numbers and gives me words and they come to pass, is because he wants to tell you, listen to your daughter, to listen to his daughter. And it's not that I'm perfect, because I'm far from it. I'm just a human, just like we all are. But he has given me that word, and I'm just going to pass it on. And yeah, that's it. That's what I wanted to say. Just dinar will be, and every time that I hear the word dinar, I remember that dream of the bags of money. And I know that a lot of the parts, a lot of that money that I see, those bags and bags in that dream, are from the dinar. And interesting enough, Super was in that dream, and we talk a lot about the dinar. I know that has a meaning, because him and I talk a lot about the dinar and the things that Abba reveals to me about the dinar. And for me, that's confirmation. Every single time I think about the dinar, the Lord brings that dream in a vision to me, reminding me this. And yeah, that's what I wanted to say.
Thank you. Superfood.
Hey, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, my friend.
Sorry, I've been in and out. It's one of those Monday maniac days for work. But gladly, I was hearing that about the dinar. There is already a plan for the RV. It's already in VIP. The videos are there. It's already done for you guys. I'm not speaking about other Iraqi gurus. Those guys have been around for a long time. Mm-hmm. They have a reputation.
Yep.
I would not listen to them. Just a heads up. A lot of people have lost money with them the past 10 years. Just be careful who you listen to. I'm going to tell you what I'm going to do real quick, but the rest, and of course, I'm going to update everybody when that time comes. When you buy your Iraqi dinars, please save your receipt. It's going to be one less hurdle that you have to deal with. Mm-hmm. Okay, someone in our group went to a local bank. They thought that it wasn't available, and it was available. I would work with someone locally, folks, right now. I've been saying this for a long time. You have to build a rapport with your banker. This is the guy that is, when that time comes and there's going to be investment opportunities, you guys got to have a rapport with the banker. Open up an account separate from your savings and checking account. Call it, I don't know, investment account, whatever you want to call it. Because that's where you're going to put that's where you're going to cash out your Iraqi dinar. You're going to keep it separate because of tax purposes or whatever. Just keep it separate. I have saved my receipt. I didn't even know my credit union had Iraqi dinars, and they went ahead and they ordered it for me. Yes, it was a little bit more expensive. I think it was like $25 for a service fee. I didn't care. All I wanted to do was I needed to get the receipt, and when it was time to cash out, it has to be from somewhere legitimate, not these 800 number. Meet us in a hotel. We're gonna convert your Iraqi dinars into money. That's all BS, guys. Be careful. We have enemies among us, and they're ready to steal your money. And that also goes for crypto. It's getting very bad right now, where people are just getting a lot of messages through text, emails, clicking on stuff. And if you have your wallet open tab somewhere, and they're just going to drain you out. I'm telling you, this is so easy for a crook to just get in there and steal your money. This is like instant, and they're getting smarter and smarter. So just be careful. Back to the Iraqi dinar. Since you already bought it at that place, they already know, and you already have a semi-rapport with them, you'll be able to cash it right there. Even if it's 10 cents, it does not matter. You cash a $25,000 note right away, okay? Yes, it's 10 cents. It's not what you wanted. Okay, that's not the point. The point is you cash it with them. Now you're in the system. And there is I forgot the term of the banker. It's more like an investment banker type that they look out for people with money.
High-end clients.
That's the person that when they look up your name and they see that you have the Iraqi dinar, that's a flag. So now you're a VIP now. So I don't care if they only give me 10 cents. I just want to be in the system. And then the rest of that is just, it's going to be smoother. Yeah, I'll get there's going to be a detailed report when it comes out. The banks that are going to do this, and when that time comes, it's going to be an emergency kind of meeting, so you'll know about it. I don't think no one's going to miss out. But yeah, just be careful what you listen to out there. And look, man, I follow all of them. There's just some I don't follow anymore. But you guys got to be careful. The information that is coming out, there's no need to go through. It's very simple, guys. God is not going to give us confusion and chaos. And I'm going to leave it at that because it just, I don't want to, I'm not going to disparage any of the prophetics. But you guys got to be careful. And it's as simple as that, man. Wherever you got it, you bring it back. That's it. Get your receipt.
Thank you. And can you tell us about the influencers?
Oh, no, these are not the prophetic influence. I'm talking, I got names. I don't, are we recording?
We're recording.
We are recording, okay.
You mentioned in the chat, you said influence.
Honestly,
you don't have to name names, Superfood, but I did see your comment.
Base right now.
Sure.
I don't want to name names.
You don't have to. I saw in the comments section you said influencers are getting paid to cause confusion. Is this something you've seen you've seen?
Oh, this was done like 2 years ago. That the first time I heard it.
Wow.
This was through Anonymous.
Okay.
That's someone that I followed, and he showed the proof.
Wow.
That and back then it was the coins. So what they would do is they would send an email to all these influencers, and he did have a copy of it, and it just basically tells them that we're going to give you so much token. All we need you to do is just pump up the token. And now more information is coming out where they're the one that are doing the pump and dumps.
Mm.
It is wild out there. This is wild. We are getting 1 million meme coins every week. And they're just grabbing the liquidity out of from back then, the ones that we've had for 2-3 years.
Mm.
Why do you think they're doing that? Why do you think that they're trying to destroy the SHIB and the Luna and the Volt and all the old OGs? I'm just gonna mention Trump. Trump right now, he is the master pump and dumper right now. This is crazy. And I'm not saying it's him, but it could be his crew. That tokenomics, I think it's like 80 or 90% goes to the team.
Mm.
I'm not sure if he's aware of what he's doing. I have no idea on that part. But man, he grabbed a lot of the liquidity out of the market when his coin came up, and then Melania, and then I was like, what is going on? This is crazy. That's why a lot of people are just done. How many of you are done? This is crazy. And we're still seeing red market going down. And this week is going to be the CPI numbers. It's going to be the lunar eclipse. There's going to be more low volume weekends. It is just, now, this all can be God's plan. How many people here wanted 45K for Bitcoin?
And Prophet Robin said years ago there'd come a time when manipulation would be seen and people would be just burned out of crypto.
But we're seeing it. Exactly. I hope people are seeing it, because if you're not seeing it, you are feeling it. So either way, you know that right now it's a minefield out there. Hmm. I am completely almost out of the market. I'm just buying anytime I see a 90% discount on a coin that I have conviction with. I'm buying up. I'm accumulating those. But to get in and do some trading, no, it's just a minefield out there. That's just not my thing. So just be careful out there, guys. And yeah, I hope some of this exposure really comes out. We have other people that are sleuthers. They already know Trump's wallet address, and It is. You can't hide it. So we're seeing a lot of the pump and dumpers and names. It'll come out. It'll come out that you'll be like, okay, don't trust this guy. And the influencers are going to be like, they're going to have to come out and say, hey, I screwed up. This is what happened, because it is rampant. These influencers are getting paid. Especially the ones that have a high subscriber account. There is so much money, guys, in this. You got to think about it. There's going to be trillions and trillions of dollars coming into this market, especially with the tokenization. Mm-hmm. Who's going to run? If you're following the influencers, it's going to be easy for the cabal dude over here to say, hey, you know what? Let's just get all these top 10 influencers right here, and let's pay them buku dollars. And everyone's going to listen. Oh, yeah.
Cost of business.
Say it again?
The cost of business.
Oh, the cost of business. I think you froze, too.
Sorry.
I don't see that you're moving.
Okay.
Yeah, the cost of business, exactly. You put in $100, they don't care. They're going to get 1,000 off of that. These guys, they just don't care.
Come.
And they're going to, you talking about blood in the streets? Oh, boy. All I'm saying is take advantage when there's blood in the streets, and that's from the good old Warren Buffett. And why do you think he's on the sideline with a pile of cash? He's just waiting for this thing for the house of cards to drop. But anyways, yeah.
Thank you very much, Superfood.
Definitely, we're not going to be left behind with the Iraqi dinar. Like I said, I'm going to, once I get that A-OK, I'm going to be sending it to Jason to do an emergency meeting.
Thank you, Superfood. I'll be waiting for that. In fact, just give me a call so I don't miss it.
Okay. Yes.
Yeah. I just we'll do. I'll wait for your signal. You've been. I'm so glad to have many of you guys in our community who are not just the sleuth type of people, but collectors of information. They say in YouTube, you're either a creator or you're a consumer. You generally can't follow everybody when you're creating lots of content. We make 4 videos a week, so it's hard to consume everything, especially when you need your own downtime. Triple J, I'll get to your comment right now in just a moment. But I just want you guys to know I'm thankful for all of you who are watching videos, contents, collecting pieces of information, and various things like coins, until the people like the Lisas and the Superfoods, and some of you guys who are like the Wayne's World, who are watching all of this stuff and following different people. It's great. But if you come across something you feel like, hey, I need to make sure J-Song sees this, don't forget to shoot it to my email, j.song7784@icloud.com. j.song7784@icloud.com, and then I'll put it in my queue. If it's something I feel like I need to rewatch, I'll often keep it like highlighted so I can make sure it's there for me. Let's take a look at your comments, and then I'll get back to Triple J in just a moment. Butterfly says, Pastor, God has led me to you, so I pay attention to what you say. I know you are of God. Pray for me. I'm not perfect. Pray for me as well, so I can highlight the things that I feel the Lord leading me at times. Sometimes it's in a dream. Sometimes it's prophetically. I do prophesy sometimes, but most of the time I've just received dreams or visions or interpretation or something that God's led me through the Word of God. By the way, if you guys missed the message yesterday, specifically if you're a leader, I want you to watch the message yesterday. Please watch the message yesterday. It's important from WordRoom. Listen to it. It's specifically for people who are leaders as well. But anyone, you guys are going to benefit by it. Camino says, get it from the bank so they know you. Yep, that's right. Get it from the bank if you can. Huntington Bank charged a small fee of $15. That's not so bad compared to some of the other. They look for high net worth individuals. Yes, says Mr. Mall, they'll flag them. Christian says, I'm going to check out that in the VIP. Thank you. If you guys want to be part of the VIP, if you're watching this clip online or parts of this that are highlighted for today about the dinar, about the dream, our website, patreon.com/jsung_7. It's $18 for the full month. You get invited to all of our links, get to see all the tutorials that are generally on Wednesdays. You get to see the forecasts that are week by week, play by play, sometimes day by day. We love to see you guys learning the dangers in the markets, where the health comes in, where's the resistance, what the story's telling, what the volume's telling, putting it all together with crayons. We're thinking about changing our name to Crypto and Crayons, J-Song's Crypto and Crayons. Camino says, I agree with SFM. Superfood Man, stop feeding the memes. Mark says, so we buy dinar from the banks so I can check my local credit union. You probably want to check. Triple J says, also exchange and keep your receipts. Mr. Mall, 45 Bitcoin. Did I hear that right? Superfood maybe have a forecast for 45. I currently don't have that at the moment, but maybe some of you guys see it. Camino says, turn off YouTube and watch the charts. We'll have Lisa's comment in just a moment. Triple J, you're up.
Yeah, I just want to say that we've got to remember that in this community, God is really good because He shows in part, and we actually, it's like a threefold cord. It's not easily broken. That's what the Allah is showing me in a vision right now. We are tied up together in Him. It's like we pat each other's back in the spirit. God has made it that way. And somebody was asking, where do you buy the dinar? The bank and the exchanges. And also, another revelation that Allah gave me was, because some people were saying, because I was asking him, talking to him, and saying, people are saying this, people are saying that, please give us confirmation, revelation. We want clarity. You're not you don't give us confusion. The creator of confusion is the enemy, and you're nothing like that. You will always give us clarity. And he told me, Janet, you know that the beauty of the dinar is that you can buy $20 here, $50 there, $100 here. You don't have to spend thousands of dollars. Manage your money and use the abilities that I've given you. And that doesn't come just for me, that's for everybody here. That word is for everybody. The beauty of the dinar is that you don't have to buy a lot at that time and at that moment if you don't have it. But the more you have, the more, when you exchange it, the more you're going to have too. Because even if it's not $5, but the more you have, the more you're going to get. And that's something that He revealed to me. So, yes.
Thank you.
That's what I wanted to say.
After the class, I'm going to say some names. I want you guys to be careful. These names have come up. As a pastor of our community, a shepherd is the name of pastor. Basically, I believe it's the origins of the words. It's the one who brings out to pasture, something like that. It's a shepherd. And shepherds sometimes have to look for the wolves. So in just a moment, I'll end the recording and I'm going to share something. But I think we're going to end the recording right here. Lisa had said some comments in the chart about some of the upcoming things with the crypto. I think that's good and that's fantastic. But we're going to end right here. I'll be right back. And if you guys are watching some of this online, thank you so much for watching. Make sure you guys always like the videos and put a comment in the chat. I won't ask you for crypto online or anything like that. If you guys are seeing me contact you on YouTube or something, it's not me. It's not me. I'm not in contact with anybody to ask for crypto. If you believe that somebody that has my face or name or even a name, because sometimes they take in my name, ChartRoom, and it will say like weird stuff at the end. It's not me. I'm not asking anybody for crypto or anything I'm not asking you anything. But people will impersonate Prophet Robin or something. So if you guys are seeing me talk to you on YouTube, it's not me. It's not me. I'm not talking to anybody. If you ever doubt it's me, ask me for a video call. I will video call you. You'll see my face. And you say, hey, I heard you asking me for money or something like that. You'll see my face. So it's not me. And I have to say that because a lot of the prophetic people, YouTube people, transfer community people, they're all being impersonated right now. So from time to time, that's happened to me. I don't know if it's happening right now, but I have got that. About 2 years ago, somebody was trying to impersonate me. It wasn't me. Just letting you guys know. Okay. And make sure even then you get the password. What's the password? I don't know. We'll make up a password. All right. God bless you guys. We'll be right back.